What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Varun John, joined by Ocean Sharma right next to me, and today we'll be talking about what exactly dictated the first week of PMPL South Asia Season 3. We'll be starting off with having a look at the leaderboard and talking about the leaders of the leaderboard, followed by we'll be having a look at a few teams and their mind-blowing action to see how they climb up the ladder. With that out of the way, we'll be following that up with plays of the week, and to sum it all up, we'll be talking about the most valuable player of the week.
Let's discuss the leaderboard segment after Super Weekend 1, as it has been a roller coaster ride with a lot of teams. I mean, Skylight Esports is topping up the chart at the first position with 197 points, but second to 8 has been where competition has been close for a few teams. But 9 to 16 is something where teams might just come back stronger, because there are a few teams like F4 and XP F15 at 16, and they can come back stronger.
And now, with the leaderboard out of the way, let's have a look at the team that is sitting on the first position, Z3us Esports from Mongolia. They've had a pretty wonderful time in the Super Weekend so far. I mean, getting 4 chicken dinners in 3 days.
I mean, exactly. They have had back-to-back 2 chicken dinners first day and then second day as well. But they were almost on a Hattrick chance, but that did not come. But they were grabbing the second position that day.
Yeah, and an amazing performance nonetheless. Other than the chicken dinners, they have been consistent in the matches that they did not perform good at. Because this team is really far ahead of the competition.
I mean, talking about the players like Killa, Zaki, those are some of the most incredible players. And Baron as well, getting into the dedicated sniper role and obviously a support role as well. So yeah, the players have been incredible, players have been good. Maybe next time we'll go for a 3.
But maybe they can do that. But with 197 points to their name, and as I mentioned, they are ahead of the competition. The competition is catching up. Right behind them is Carnage Esports with 166 points, followed by DRS Gaming on the third position with 160 points. And on the fourth, we have Zeus Esports with 150 points. So it's like Z3us Esports, they are in their own league. And then we have the next 3 teams fighting to see who's going to be second.
Exactly. Mongolia and Nepal has been ruling the domination right now, ruling the contestation, and it will be a good affair to see which team comes up on the top next week. If we talk about a team though that has been really good with their gameplay and has been one of the best underdog teams, we're going to talk about their gameplay. So we talk StalwartFlex, right? The team has been incredible. They are in top 8, sitting at 8th position with incredible number of kill points, 71 kill points for them, which is the 3rd highest in the whole lobby. So yeah,
exactly, quite an incredible and aggressive team. 123 points in total. They have managed to maintain the 8th position for themselves in a tournament that can only be described as one of the toughest tournaments in South Asia. But not just that, StalwartFlex Esports, I mean, the reason we call them underdog is because of the fact that during the league play days, they were struggling a bit. But as soon as they come into the Super Weekend, oh my lord, this team is all about that aggression and all about getting those kills.
Talking about the aggression, right? Kill point is something that they have in their favor, but the placement points is something that they are lacking right now. I mean, they have the 3rd highest kill points again, but if they get those placement points for themselves, they might as well contest the top 5, which is one of the deadliest ladder right now to climb for them.
Exactly. This team has proven that they have what it takes to go toe-to-toe against the best of the best, and well, things only look good. Moving on, let's have a look at the top 3 plays of this week. Starting off with number 3, we have Godless with an almost clutch in the final fight.
Exactly, I mean, that was an incredible fight. He took down almost Team Seal, if you just want to talk about it, and Team Seal itself were taking fight against T2K. And as soon as T2K was wiped out, Godless stands up, tries to get the actual moment for himself. Had he had one more bullet, he could have clutched the game for himself.
Exactly, and the reason this play gets into the top plays of the week is because Godless only had his sound sense, the sound cues of the weapons going off, to figure out how many teams or how many players were exactly present from each team. But at number 2, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a wonderful display of how smokes are supposed to be used by AJ from the team of DRS.
Taking down the players of Venom Legends, one of the brilliant plays coming out here, as we saw. I mean, he actually came out of water lines onto the shore side, spotted down the players, used 5-6 smokes for his own aid, and then did a 1v3. That was the brilliant moment. The only reason it's not at first is because the team was not able to get a chicken dinner. Otherwise, it would have made the day.
Exactly, and as Ocean mentioned, the play on the first position is the clutch by the players of Team Seal. not players, but one player, because Miramar, final fight, and it's a 1v1v1 situation on day 2, match 2, and this is the match that established Team Seal in the first position on the leaderboard as well.
Exactly, 9th circle coming up forward, everyone for themselves. A 1v1v1 situation goes to a 1v1 situation, a height advantage, height disadvantage, and somehow against Carnage Esports, Seal gets the win.
And now let's have a look at the best performing player for this week, ladies and gentlemen, which is Snipe Whitey from Team Carnage Esports.
Exactly, and one of the best and brilliant performances came from this individual lad, and obviously, getting as a team player and as an individual player, he was incredible.
He was incredible, and so was his team. They have been consistent so far, and we had a chance to interview this player as well, where they told us that they plan to go for more chicken dinners. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to an end of the show and the recap for this week. We'll be back again next week, so stay tuned for more action. Bye-bye.
Every day is a fight. Every moment is a race against the best. Beat the clock. Be on top of your abilities before the rest. Every face-off will be bigger than the last one. Every knock will count. Time will stand still in the wake of the storm. And that's why the sun never sets on this battleground. This is where champions will gather to etch their names on the highway to glory. Welcome to the Coliseum. Welcome to PUBG Mobile Pro League Season 3.
Hello and welcome to PUBG Mobile Pro League South Asia Season 3. This is an amazing turn of events where we are now going to be stepping into the second week Super Weekend, and it's the final day of second week Super Weekend. It is going to be quite an exhilarating ride coming in from all of these teams, but alongside all of this, it is a huge thanks to Oppo F19 Pro for making it all happen. Hashtag Wook Up Your Fun. I'm your host, Brother. Joining me on the INES desk again are the two lads that you all know by now. Hopefully you do. If you do not, of course, you ought to know them, or you ought to be following them. It is none other than I Super Johnny and Ocean Sharma.
Well, if you guys don't know us, I mean, our socials are right there, so you can get to know us as well. But thank you for the warm welcome today, Blotter, as well. And day 3 of Super Weekend 2.
Yep,
exactly.
We have reached that middle ground, Ocean, and now it is neck-breaking sort of opportunities coming in.
Exactly, it's pretty close as of now for a few teams.
Yeah.
There are some teams who wants to, who want to get up to the marker for themselves. There are a few teams who want to go to the top 5, to the top 10. So it matters for every team that is playing up right now.
Absolutely, mate. Because again, when you talk about these teams, we are looking at 20 teams in total, yes, but when it comes to the Super Weekend, we've only got 16 teams that will, of course, be participating, and this is the final day of the second Super Weekend.
Yeah, final day, final opportunity for teams to solidify, cement their positions for one more week before they have to go through the routine once again of playing the league play days, then moving to the next Super Weekend where things are going to change.
Well, that's going to be a ringer for certain teams, most certainly, mate. But along with that, of course, you're looking at a massive prize pool that's on stake, that's online, wherein you have $300,000 online. But amongst that, 150,000 grand has been set up separately just for PMPL South Asia Finals.
And so far, you could see the bottom right thing, WWCD, every match gets you $1,000. We have seen a few teams getting really rich, but there are a few teams who still want to just open up the bank account at this moment. I mean, it kind of matters for them. And for today's day, we'll have to see if that just, goes down. And MVP for the final is going to be $1,000 league play attendance. That's going to be obviously when we go back to the league play days. So we'll see how it just goes down. But right now, I want to see who gets that 5K for today, because every match has someone with the stakes.
Definitely, and as Ocean was saying, some teams just want to get themselves on the board with that $1,000 winner chicken dinner. One of the names that comes to mind is A1 Esports. We are seeing like different regions being represented all across the leaderboard, and it's so exciting to see them go head-to-head.
Absolutely, and in that, again, when you talk about a team that is taking a charge, taking a lead of the entire lobby, it is Zeus Esports that is, of course, on top of the overall, and that is mainly thanks to their over-aggression, because that is where they rack up those points. It's the kills that I'm talking about, where indeed One kill gives you that 1 point, but alongside that, of course, you get that chicken dinner, you get $1,000 during the Super Weekend, and of course 15 points for you.
Exactly. Now here is things where things get interesting, right? Because as we were talking about A1 Esports, they have a good position in the overall leaderboard, but no chicken dinners. Those 15 points are worth $1,000. Yes, 15 points will give you the boost in the overall leaderboard as well, but they give you a lot of money along with that. And that is the thing, 1 kill per point. That is how a lot of teams are able to compete with the best, because they go aggressive, they get those fights early in the game, they get those kills for themselves, and that's how they keep themselves in the race.
Absolutely, mate. And in that, we also have, like we just discussed, 16 teams that are, of course, going to be participating when it comes to this Super Weekend that have been able to showcase that wonderful, wonderful synergy in their gameplay. So let's go on through and, well, to have the teams on our screens.
I mean, we do have the teams right now. And talking about INES, right? They have been showcasing good gameplays, bad gameplays altogether. Because obviously it's their first Super Weekend if we're going to talk about this one, right? Zeus, StalwartFlex, Carnage, they have been coming up back to back. StalwartFlex, you know, again, a really dominating team. Got a chicken dinner yesterday, and that was a good one for them as well. But Zeus, I mean, yesterday, as compared to their other days, was kind of on a slow side, I would say.
Alright, so for Zeus Esports, if you compare it to the sort of performances they have put up, yesterday was a bad day.
Right.
That's the thing.
Slow day, I would say.
I would be straight. This team, you expect a lot from them, the way they have been playing. I mean, getting like 10 kills, 8 kills every single match, finishing in the top 5, top 6 consistently with those kills. So, it was a slowdown, it was a speed bump that they hit yesterday, but on the other side we do see Carnage Esports as well in the previous set of teams. Now moving forward, Deadeyes Guys, they had the momentum for them, they are playing with that momentum quite nicely. PN Crew, another team that has hit the speed bump.
PN Crew, yesterday's chicken was good for them. Talk about Seal 9, yesterday's chicken was good for them. And 1952, yesterday's last game was good for them. So these three teams, if we're going to talk about these three teams, they have been doing really good yesterday. And DE, I mean, the day before yesterday was a really consistent day for that team as well. So I would say for all these teams, these four names, they have impressed us.
Exactly.
Most certainly.
Especially, I mean, I have to say Seal 9, they have been really impressive. And PN Crew, as you said, yes, the chicken did come yesterday and it was amazing, the Miramar game they had. First game, after the way the first game went for them when they went up against D and they got taken out, I was like, alright, that has to be sort of a morale breaker. But hey, these guys know how to pick themselves up.
Exactly, mate. And in that, when we move the conversation along, we are, of course, well, T2K looking really comfortable when it comes to the overall standings. A1 Esports, as we just mentioned, have not gotten that chicken dinner, but still that consistent play has resulted in them being in the top 10, which is again working in their favor. But I hope they get that chicken dinner today. They need that.
Exactly, they do need that, but Skylight Gaming and 7Z, I want to see these two names shine up more and more for themselves, just like DRS, just like High Voltage, they have done for themselves. They have cemented themselves on really good positions. I mean, DRS, incredible performance by this team, the first day, like the day before yesterday, back-to-back, good, consistent performances.
Alright, and talk about consistency. Yesterday, we saw a consistent performance from Venom Legends, ladies and gentlemen. They blew our minds yesterday. I mean, they were playing just like Zeus Esports does, with the same level of aggression, with the same level of consistency. I mean, even Zeus has a habit of messing up one game every single day. Venom Legends did that in the very last game, and it was all right. Because the first 4 games, it was fair. Because the first 4 games, they absolutely destroyed the lobby. Consistent performances, top 5 finish every single match, getting those kills, getting those points, and well, we did see them close up the difference between them and the teams above them.
Well, absolutely. Along with that, when you talk about Zeus Esports, well, yes, they have had a pretty A-OK game yesterday, but overall, when you talk about the overall standings, when you talk about the journey thus far, the storyboard thus far, they have a massive lead.
Exactly. I mean, 281, 227, 224. I want to see if Carnage just, sticks up to their position, because you can see the +1 that they have. That was in the last game with their performance. So if DRS just, chimes in the first game, or will Carnage, want to take that lead to new heights for themselves? But Seal Esports, today, as the day starts, they might drop down to the 8th and even further. We talked about this in the league play days. I remember talking about this in the Tuesday, because that day was when Seal's performance was down, and I just talked about it. If Seal misses out on this one, they would go down, and this is the exact thing that's happening.
I think even today we are going to see Seal drop down to somewhere around the 10th position, not below that. One team in the first half of the standings that I want to talk about is going to be StalwartFlex. Like, if they slow down their aggression, focus a little bit on the placement points, they are going to climb up. But on the second page of the standings, as we said, Seal 9 climbing up to the 15th position yesterday. They have made this week a success already. Now today, their goal is going to be to close the difference between them and XB Blood Legion.
7C, Venom Legends, Skylight, I mean, they also need a chicken for themselves, you know, just racking up those placement points, and obviously the $1,000 that they want to just, you know, showcase as the bragging rights, because every team has had, you can see, 25 games for themselves in that area. There are a few teams that have just started with 10 games for themselves, but the teams that have had 25 games, they by now, they know what is the super weekend meta for the other teams to compete against with.
Absolutely, mate. And in that, when you talk about a team, that is of course going to be DRS, a team that has gotten, well, 5 chicken dinners. Just wonderful turnover wins for this team. They're on the 3rd spot right now. Let's bring in the head-to-head coming in from week 1 of the Super Weekend compared to the week 2. And again, I mean, the journey, they are just climbing and climbing and climbing.
Yeah, they seem to be climbing quite nicely, but week 1, I mean, an impressive performance as we can see just in terms of the numbers. We still have matches left today, but it's going to be quite interesting to see how the soldiers are going to fight this war.
Talk about this one, right? 3 chicken dinners, 160 points, 2 chicken dinners, 64 points. I mean, they are still like, what, almost 100 points behind. Obviously, those 100 points should come up in today's 5 games if they want to go with the same consistency, same way. If you want to talk about this one. But this is where the difference is as of now. Obviously, 15 games, 81 kills, 10 games, 30 kills. So the kill numbers is something that they got to rack up today.
Yeah.
And I don't know what went wrong yesterday with the team, but if they just start up today, because, you know, you can see this, AJ. This was a brilliant 1v3 that he did, and that just showcases one thing, and that is that, you know, every player for himself knows what his exact role is and sticks up to that.
Exactly, and it is going to be quite interesting to see them sort of get back into the competition today again after the sort of performance that they had yesterday, because now it is still a good position that they are on in terms of where they sit on the leaderboard, and from there, I mean, the team below them, Z3us Esports, is not playing, so they don't have any immediate threat that they have to worry about. The only team that they have to worry about is going to be the team above them. Right. That's going to be Carnage, and because Z3us Esports is way too far ahead, like 5 games, I don't think you're going to be even thinking about trying to take them over. Carnage is the team that they need to focus on. If they actually manage to bring themselves up to the 2nd position, I think that's going to be a huge morale booster for the players, a good momentum setter for the team as well going into the 3rd week of this tournament.
Absolutely, mate, because again, they still have 5 games remaining when it comes to this Super Weekend, and that could very well be the momentum that they need, the games that they need to be able to, you know, rack up those points for themselves. But move that conversation towards, well, the rivalry that we've seen. But before we talk about the rivalry, I mean, DRS, the graph, it has been bonkers for this team, but at the end, Ocean.
I mean, talk about this one. Look at yesterday's performance. As you can see at the end of the graph, that has been onto a lower side as compared to every other performance. Because this is obviously the Super Weekends. As you can see, the 25 matches, 15 of the previous week, and 10 of yesterday and day before yesterday. So look at the ups and downs that there were. I mean, they started off on a slow note, then they picked up a pace like really violently. Because you can see there were some ups and some downs. Had they had, you know, if they hit up their best point, they hit it, and if they go down, they go down. There was nothing in between.
Exactly, and yesterday's best performance on that graph looked like an 8-point game for them, so that was quite an interesting thing to see, because before that they were like always getting those kills. Even in the head-to-head we saw that 80 kills to compare to the low number that we see in front of us right now after the 10 games that this team has been through. So DRS Gaming, yeah, the momentum seems to be slipping away, but I'm pretty sure these guys are veterans. They started off slow as well, then they picked up the pace, now they're slowing down a bit again, and I think once they get back into that zone, it's going to be fun to watch.
Most certainly going to be an exhilarating experience to be a part of this team's journey, the real soldiers. But move that conversation towards the rivalry that I was just about to mention. Of course, the entire lobby is going to be going against our real soldiers because they've got $5,000 in the bank when it comes to the Super Weekend. But alongside that, we're talking about actual rivalry that we've seen throughout these games, and that is going to be between 2 teams. 2 teams that were just going against each other every single game, and that is none other than Deadeyes Guys going against XB Blood Legion. Perfect yet dominating play coming in from both of them.
I mean, it has been as of now, you know, you can see the way the different play styles that these teams just go down with. 88 kills, 55 kills, 2 chicken dinners versus 1 chicken dinner. If you talk about the damage and everything, look at the damage received that both of these teams have. That just showcases that, you know, if you're caught down in the open, you'll get shot on from all the other directions, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Exactly. I mean, XB Blood Legion, one major factor is going to be the fact that a new team is stepping onto this battleground against one of the veterans of the scene in form of Deadeyes Guys, if we're just going to talk about the head-to-head between these 2 teams. And also, XB Blood Legion, they had a really slow start to the tournament. If you remember week 1, it wasn't going their way at all. This team was getting destroyed in every single game that they stepped into, and now it's a totally different thing that we see in front of us. XP Blood Legion, they are a little bit more confident. That mental pressure that was there on these lads, it's gone now. They know what they have to do, they know how they have to take a fight. Don't be scared at all, and they are not. Deadeyes Guys, I mean, we saw some scuffles between them yesterday when punches were thrown from both sides and, well, players were taken out. But that's all just like fun inside of the game itself. At the end of the day, it's all about who gets those points.
Absolutely, mate. And in those, of course, that is when it comes to these teams, that is when it comes to the storyboard that we're creating when it comes to PMPL South Asia. But alongside all of this, what we're looking at is going to be that much more incredible now, because that is something for you guys sitting back at home. That is going to be the calendar that makes and breaks for you guys sitting back at home, because what I'm talking about right here is going to be the giveaways that we've got. And these giveaways are scheduled to go on throughout PMPL South Asia, where you get to, well, have virtual gifts as well as actual gifts that you could hold in your hand. And of course, in that you've got AirPods Pro, you've got gift cards in your local currency, along with which of course you can very well get those in-game points, and that is going to be just perfect play for you. Alongside all of this, move on towards something even better, well, in-game points, and that is something that you can very well chime in through the Esports Center. All you need to do is follow the action of PMPL South Asia via the Esports Center. As you do so, every single minute you're going to be earning points. Those points can then be multiplied by guessing weekly winners, or you could very well participate in a lucky draw. If you choose, or rather if you win, dudes, you will have that perfect outfit. Top 3 will get that permanent outfit for you to flaunt in the entire lobby with your friends, and that's a cool thing to have, no question about it.
Exactly.
But that's again just virtual gifts, Ocean, right? Move on to something that counts that much more now. This is going to be the giveaway that everybody who's viewing needs to participate in, because this is the super giveaway that's been set up. And again, you got AirPods Pro, the #1 prize. Second is going to be the in-game items, followed by, well, perfect gift cards in your local currency. And all you need to do is hashtag PMPL SA, followed by your UID, your unique code, and the region that you are supporting. Do not forget, that is going to be the most important. You better start showcasing that love for the teams that you're supporting, because that is what will result in you having those perfect gifts for you.
And we saw a few winners' names, right?
Yep.
We saw a few people just getting up those gifts for themselves. So now it's time to just, you know, cheer up more for your squads, more for your nation, because if a squad from that nation wins up, you know, you get extra rewards. So
Exactly.
Win-win.
Exactly. Win-win for everyone. I mean, the show, for us to see the audience win stuff for the audience, because they are actually winning stuff, and for the team as well, because, well, they win $1,000 with the chicken dinner.
Exactly, and that is going to be just kudos for everybody. I mean, for us, of course, as well as you guys sitting back at home, also the teams that are participating, because you get to showcase your love for the team that you support. Along with which, let's move on our show, let's move on the day, where indeed we now have the schedule of Day 3 of Second Super Weekend, where once again, we start off on Erangel.
Alright, well, moving up on Erangel right now. Obviously, we'll be going to Miramar, Erangel, Sanhok, Erangel afterwards. But right now, the first Erangel. Yesterday, we talked about a really crucial thing regarding this one, and that was that, you know, a break of a few hours, how much of a difference does it create? And it did create a difference in the gameplay of DRS. If we want to talk about it yesterday versus day before yesterday. So, if we talk about today, we'll have to see if... I remember we used to have this conversation about map chance. So, if we talk about this one, right? Seal9 is there, Zeus is there, High Voltage, and DRS. So, DRS was obviously in the top 3 before that. And slowly and steadily, that fall has come down. But I want to see if they can come back.
Along with a map chance, I would love to have sort of a new creation that would be a fight chance. Because again, two teams that come to mind every time you talk about Erangel, and when these lads are present, is STE versus 1952.
Oh yes.
Even yesterday, when the bridge fight did not happen, the teams were far away from each other. They ended up finding each other inside the circle. So that is one fight that I'm going to be waiting for.
I mean, that is the kudos to all of these teams in the lobby, right? You have to create those rivalries to be able to then, well, convert those into the momentum that you need, into the, well, friction that you need in your team. And that is what these teams have been able to showcase till now. But move that conversation along. Who's going to be the ones that will participate in that $5,000 today? Who will be the ones taking that home? Will it be a team that has already taken so much? Or will it be a new team altogether? Again, only time will tell. But alongside that, I do want to talk to you guys about what prediction. There has to be a team, there has to be a region that you...
No predictions this whole week?
Nothing?
I don't know why I feel like Skylight Gaming might just take it today, because obviously it's one of those teams that did not have a chicken dinner.
Right.
Maybe those teams want to start up something.
Maybe.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to predict a chicken dinner, but do see DRS making a comeback today, and I do see Venom Legends continuing the form they were in yesterday.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed for that. And with that, it is time to move on along with the first game of our day on Erangel, of course. And that implies Erangel boys are back in the house. It is going to be these two lads who are going to be taking you through this game. It is none other than, of course, XP joined in with play.
Thank you once more for that, Blotter, Johnny, and of course Ocean on the desk right there. And unfortunately, you guys are stuck with us now. It's going to be XP and myself bringing you the action, the first game of the day. It is going to be starting off as usual on Erangel. It is going to be the first game, the first map of the second Super Weekend, the final day as well. So for a few of these teams, this is, you know, it could be a potential last chance to get as many points as possible.
It could be, and of course, the analyst desk, they kind of did brush up on these points. They had a head-to-head with certain teams, which I'm really, you know, looking forward to that rivalry, you know, going forward in the last week. But again, it is going to be a make-it-or-break-it situation for a few of the teams. Of course, you want to make sure that you are stable in the top 16, right? That's basically the name of the game, and of course, give it your best in week 3.
But well, there we have it.
We go.
We're not going to be wasting any more time, ladies and gents. We're going to be jumping straight into the game. Let's do this. It's going to be Erangel once more to start the day off with, and it is going to be a bit of a different plane path, something which we haven't seen as often as you know, a more of a vertical plane path is what we've noticed in the past couple of days. It's going to be starting just west of Gatka and ending towards Milta Power. That's where Venom Legends usually like to drop XP, but then they've also shown that they do like heading towards Ferry Pier.
Yes, sir. Ferry Pier, Primorsk is sometimes where they do like going, depending on the plane path. But now, since both their favorite drop spots are pretty much right, there you have it. They're going to be jumping off to the Ferry Pier. You are correct indeed. Now, what my eyes are going to be on are the boys from Deadeyes Guys and that little rivalry they've got going with XP Blood Legion. So again, expect a little bloodbath at Rozok. Now, Zeus Esports, they are heading towards George Paul. Again, remember, Zeus Esports, Seal 9 and INES have had a little bit of a tango near the containers.
Yeah, it's been a deadly tango, and that is something I want to really keep an eye out for. And Venom Legends actually dropping out early, even though Milta Power was definitely an option available to them. One fight I want to touch upon, which I think it was Ocean who brought up alongside Johnny, is this particular skirmish between 1952 and StalwartFlex on the bridge. It's happened time and time again. Now the circle's going to dictate whether that is going to be on the cards here in this particular game, but taking a look at the way the teams are, just heading towards their locations,
I mean,
it's going to take place. It's going to happen. But then again, XP, it's a circle we've seen many a time.
Many times indeed. And just having a look at the map, Sosnovka military base is going to be occupied by StalwartFlex as usual. And this time, Blood Legion aren't going to Rozok for Deadeyes Guys. I think they might have had enough yesterday, especially in Sanhok. We did see a little insult to injury being happening over there, but they are going to be calling Nova Rep their home. Now again, the question is, are we going to see another bridge fight? Because talking about 1952, they definitely learned from their mistakes on day 1 of the Super Weekend. Unfortunately, they were kind of backstabbed by Venom Legends, who were at the right place at the right time.
Right place, the right time, and Blood Legion were definitely not in the right place. And neither were they at the right time over in Sanhok yesterday against Deadeyes Guys. But like you said, you know, Deadeyes Guys all the way towards Rozok. Doesn't mean that they're not going to be facing off against each other. However, if it does wind up being a late circle and they, you know, wind up against each other, I'm not expecting to see any, you know, emotes and punches really flying, because it would be a little too risky for these teams to, you know, approach the game in that fashion, especially late in the game. However, a couple of teams I want to talk about here, XP. Deadeyes Guys and PN Crew have really catapulted themselves pretty high in the rankings, considering they played the first Super Weekend. They were relatively very, very quiet despite having a good league stage, and right now Deadeyes Guys, 7th place. PN Crew, 168 points in the 10th position, not too shabby at all. We can't forget Sandesh with that magnificent clutch he had at Miramar as well. So both these teams have definitely stepped up, considering Group E were looking pretty, they were looking like they were in a rough spot in the first week.
I think they have kind of found their footing. They are now in their element, and, you know, they're just playing it like any other game. That is what you need. You need to make sure your nerves are settled down, of course. There is a lot of pressure, not just, you know, in performing well, but big teams and big players, they have a lot of fan followings, right? And, you know, one thing, people can be quite critical, and they're not afraid to speak what's on their mind.
I do want to point out one quick thing though. Like we do have a, you know, kind of a quiet start to the game here. Seal Esports. You can take a look at the overall standings on your right hand side, ladies and gentlemen. Seal Esports are still in the 6th place having only played 3 days. 197 points. Now, you might look at it and you're like, there are 5 teams above them, but that's because everyone else in the top 10 have played 10
more games to
10
this
more
point.
games. That's 25 games they've played, while Seal have only played 15. That's how dominant they were in the first Super Weekend, and unfortunately, something really went alright for them during the league stage in Week 2, and that's why we don't have them here in the server this time around, but hopefully we get to see them later on in Super Weekend number 3 as we switch over to A1 Esports. They are on the periphery of the circle, you know, they don't really have to push it any further. They've been a team who have been consistency personified, but you know, they don't really have any big dips in the performance, nor do they have crazy highs. They're just kind of, you know, way above average, but not really standing out compared to the rest of the other teams.
Again, it's just those last-minute fights, especially in the last few circles, that they kind of get overwhelmed with their positioning. Again, I've said this about this team in the past, I'll say it again. Their rotations into the circles are good. They are prompt. The moment it changes, these guys get in their vehicles and they are out of there. But of course, when you are in the center, you got to have that 360 vigil, and you know, sometimes other teams can just overwhelm you. Now, one team that loves being in the thick and thin of the action with the boys from Z3us Esports, who we just saw on our screens, and by the look of things, they are getting in their vehicles and they are going to be going out on the prowl.
Yeah, Zeus really heading out on the hunt here. P and crew have made their home towards the western side of the main island. That's an interesting, very early look, you know, relocation for PM crew. We know where they usually like dropping towards, and
north, the shooting range, Severny.
Yeah,
that's where we see them all the time.
And this is them switching things up, which makes it very interesting. And I really enjoy watching teams kind of catching all of us off guard, because if they catch us off guard, they're definitely going to, you know, catch a few certain teams in the server as well a bit off guard.
Judging by what I see on the map, 1952 this time, they are not posting up on the bridge. Of course, they're going to be wary of Venom Legends coming in from behind as well, as Sinister makes his way. Again, see, that's what I'm talking about. A1 Esports, they don't like playing at the periphery. They are going to go straight for the center. Sinister is going to be their scout as they go and basically capture one of those compounds for themselves. Now, StalwartFlex, they are going to take their sweet time in the military base. Of course, they are going to anticipate that the bridge is going to be blocked up ahead. But little do they know, it's going to be smooth sailing, I beg your pardon. Blood Legion, also, they've spent quite a lot of time in Novo, and you can kind of have a look at Utsarga's position from Train to Kill. They are going to be getting ready for a fight. I'm pretty sure they see all those Seal9 vehicles driving by, so expect a few shots to be fired.
Indeed, it could. Seal9, having cracked the top 16 barrier, 91 points, but they still have a long way to go. They did not have an opportunity to play the first Super Weekend, so they want to rack up as many points as possible in their first Super Weekend. Here is DRS, a team that's been on the lips of a lot of the analysts on our desk, us as well, right? They've been looking really, really solid so far. Currently 3rd place, very closely contested by Carnage Esports, who are right now in the 2nd position. So they are a team who we have to keep an eye out for. They've been looking fantastic on Erangel, especially, and T2K as well, getting a couple of chicken dinners, or at least one chicken dinner in the past couple of days, as we do have a lot of teams rotating in. An interesting thing here, though, XP, not a single knock yet.
Not a single knock. This is Erangel as we know it, and of course, my eyes are just scanning the map right now, and I see Seal9's position. Now, we did kind of say that, you know, they are driving past Train to Kill. Now, Seal9, they stick to their drop points, which is pretty much the northern city north of Georgiapol. This time around, they are changing things up. The flight path. They don't want to take that risk because they know teams like Zeus, teams like INES are also going to be heading north. And, you know, the thing is, you want to get those vehicles as soon as you can. And then the question is, do you want to be run over or do you want to run over your enemies? So that is a little bit of a thing that they just put out of that. Ooh, wait a second. Are we going to see some commotion? I was going to bring up high voltage because I thought they were basically just going right in for A1 Esports.
Yeah, they could get pincered here, but it looks like A1 Sinister. I think of a couple of shots, but really good nifty driving coming up from high voltage. I was actually wondering how StalwartFlex would approach that bridge, right? They don't know what we know. They think 1952 are still on the bridge.
They're going to inch forward. That's how they're going to do. They're going to basically stop every 5 meters and scope the bridge out ahead. And now this time they're going to make sure that they check all the bridge, under the bridge, above the bridge, every single place, because they still have options. But wait a second, high voltage again driving their enemies.
They don't know how have they escaped, but how they escaped? High voltage, the 2 vehicles getting shot at by multiple teams, multiple players, and somehow, even though it is burning, it's just a bullet away from exploding in their faces. They will survive. A bit of a miracle here on Erangel. Zeus out in the open, spotted by Sandesh. A long range spray coming in from the Scar. Well, unfortunately not able to really find its mark, as we will have the second circle in front of us, and it is going to be a little bit more of a western shift coming in here. It's going to be towards encircling hospital, towards the western side. So if I'm high voltage, it was a very risky maneuver they pulled off, but a couple of the players, of one of which is Cooney, has made his way towards the western side. Well, P and Crew actually moving in a little bit. Maybe they were thinking the circle's going to be shifting in a little bit further inland, but it wasn't the case.
Absolutely, and you know, it's all about it's all about studying your patterns, right? Now, time in and time out, we've seen these circles basically form where they've been forming, and you did kind of point out 9 minutes 30 seconds on the clock, and still no one has been knocked out. But it looks like Rayan could be the first one, and not a single bullet shall be fired. Maybe the plays one might get him. Of course, he's going to stop and patch himself up. But now, right next to him, we have DRS.
And Galton's just gatekeeping him. It's not allowing him inside, and he's got to be out in the bug. He's still not healing himself. The zone's going to take him down here. Ryan needs to heal himself up immediately, pronto. And he will indeed get down in the nick of time. Wait, what?
We have a mistake here.
Why would he switch? Why would you switch, Ryan? Like, why? Although, he got down perfect at the 10-minute mark.
Well, there you have it. I mean, it's funny how things usually work out, but now DRS, they are going to realize that someone went down to the play zone. They might just go in for the kill. A little bit of a mistake coming in, and, well, Blood Legion are going to be the first one down. Is Gyro going to join his teammate? We're going to have to wait and find out.
Nuclear coming to the rescue as he is pushing into Ryan, and he is going to drop down and he'll get the res.
Let me point something. Nuclear is going to be coming for the rescue, but DRS kind of thought that the remaining members of Blood Legion are taking off. Gyro and Leo to be exact, and that is kind of a good distraction, a good diversion for Nuclear to come and pick up his teammate, and I'm pretty sure he's going to tell him, make sure you put the first aid on and do not switch your weapon. He got it.
Ooh, that got close. That got very close, but we are 10 minutes and 54 seconds in XP and yet to see a single, well, death at least. We did see a couple of knocks there, but...
At least, you know, we all love drama. We had a little bit of drama right now. I'm pretty sure the chat must be losing their minds as well. But now as the circles are going to be closing in on one another, XP Blood Legion are going to be chased by the members from DRS. While Deadeyes Guys, again, I love their aggression. They are playing with confidence, and of course, they have that little momentum rolling for them. Playing smart, taking it safe, but I did want to see that Blood Legion Deadeyes showdown in Rozhok.
I do indeed, and that could indeed happen. They're pretty close to each other. Well, kind of close to each other. I'm just taking a sip of some water, XP, because with the third circle coming in, with every single player alive, I'm going to need my voice to be prepped, hydrated, moisturized, and ready. And here we go. Zeol taking the fight to Spooky, the two Mongolians, and that nade could be
that is beautiful.
Really good. It is, however, going to roll down the side of that cliff, and Spooky will heal himself and leg it back to regroup with the rest of his teammates. So early exchange of bullets, but no one, again, dropping.
I like that, although both the teams are from Mongolia, ain't no love lost over here because Mount Olympus belongs to Z3us Esports, and they do not want anyone else around there with them, as the second airdrop is going to fall down. A Mark 14 this time around with that suppressor for the AR. So, of course, if you want to go pew-pew and conceal your position, you definitely want to pick it up. Right now, it does look like Blood Legion have finally made it to the circle. All 4 members still alive.
All 4 members still alive as we take a look at the next zone. There and StalwartFlex are in a fantastic position. The only problem right now for StalwartFlex are Venom Legends are in the vicinity, and if they push it any further towards the northern side, High Voltage have 2 players there. High Voltage are playing in pairs of 2, maybe trying to go for the placement points perhaps, but as look at the early rotation coming in here. P and Crew already moving in inroad and making inroads into the play zone. Carnage as well quickly pushing on in, but this could get messy. P and Crew and Carnage, Jiggle that is, they're right next to each other. So on A1 Esports in 1952, and no one's stopping and getting off and taking a fight because everyone is in their respective vehicles, so no one really taking any pot shots from the passenger seat.
Again, you got to remember that vehicles are going to come in handy later on, but looks like StalwartFlex's Blade got your memo and finally opens up on P and Crew.
Sandesh will be finished off. That's an ugly start indeed. It's StalwartFlex taking fights in multiple directions. They've got a couple of knocks already as we have Seal 9 laying into Blood Legion as well. And well, there we go. There we go. That was a catalyst. It was all they needed to get the first knock, and then everyone just starts to unleash upon one another. This battle is going to be important though. This cliff fight, it's such precious real estate. It's going to be real handy for whichever team finds it. But right now, Carnage are under a bit of fire, and they are taking quite a bit of damage as well. And I'm sure, I am very certain Skylight Gaming are aware of this. The push not taking place though, but there is another push, however, taking place as A1 Esports are getting rushed here by Deadeyes Guys. Nade sailing in, Molotovs making life very uncomfortable for 9boy. Wadusur getting a knock on the Sinister as well. Bear in mind, A1 have already lost a teammate here. And A1, actually, they're down to one member. 9boy, the sole surviving member. He's going to get pushed up. And Deadeyes Guys in the flames. Suyogi will finally fall to his knees. But the guy is going to stand in the flames and the fire and deliver the final blow onto A1 Esports. And they will be knocked out in the 16th place.
That is not where they want to get knocked out. Of course, the first team to be wiped out at the 14 and 30-second mark over here. It comes in a bit late, but now the action is just going to unfold. Carnage Esports, you did kind of mention they were in a little bit of a tricky situation, but there's a lot of cover around. What I want to be worried about is the fact that Venom Legends are on a high-up compound right next to them. Now, if they do hit the commotion and, if they are going to take the fight with Skylight Gaming, they need to make sure that the backs are not exposed. And, well, I do love the weaponry on display right now. Blade with his M249 once again. And everyone is looking good as far as armament goes. Level 3 helmets, level 3 vests, just the way we like them. And it looks like Johnny is trying to get a sneak peek at Cooney's position from high voltage.
Inky is in a bit of a rough spot. Look at how low he is. He's going to somehow manage to dodge the bullets as the circle is going to move in further. Inky is still alive. I have no idea how none of these bullets have found its mark, as a couple of players from Seal9 immediately ditching the vehicles inside of the water. They're going to play the water here, XP, but unfortunately the circle has shifted even further south. So if they want to head on south, they have to swim all the way down alongside the beach, meaning it's going to be shooting season for hunting season rather for the side of Zeus, who know exactly where Seal9 are.
Seal9 are pretty much done for right now because they are separated, and I'm pretty sure Z3us Esports are not going to let those gentlemen come out of the water alive. Inky is going to try and swim as far south as he can, but it is going to be a long ride. But it looks like Roy has found a boat. They are going to be waiting for Zeus to get out of there, which they are, and now he's again going to make sure he doesn't take any chances. He's going to pop up, get in the boat, and basically make it to safety. So again, Spooky, I'm surprised, is still alive because he was just rattled with bullets from INES. As I do see someone's gone down in the distance. Nima is down, and 7C, Rig, and Fair are going to tear him to pieces.
Well, there we go, shredded with the Uzi. AJ in the distance as well. At least he won't be taken down. He will be rezzed. 53 alive in the play zone. Actually, I take that back. 53 alive, but not all of them are in the play zone. And from the distance, T2K, a few bullets. A Zeus, couple of members taken down by Cooney, the vehicle explosion. And Zeus, like, we know how they like approaching this game, XP, but unfortunately, it looks like it is going to be their undoing in this particular game. Deadeyes Guys going up against Blood Legion. How have they found each other? How have Deadeyes Guys found Blood Legion?
I think they just had them on the radar for so long, but right now INES are going to be grouping themselves up once more. I was really afraid for them because Zeus Icy was so close by, but he's got to make sure he patches himself up as he got shot from the distance. That is dangerous play. That is dangerous over there.
That is extremely dangerous indeed. One perfectly placed nade and INES could be done for his Icy. Right next to the hay bale, so fortunate not to be knocked down, because if he got knocked down, a res would have been impossible. Nades. Oh, that nade could be huge! Ooh, that got real scary from Icy. We know how good he is with that utility. And Zeus, though, they have only 2 players left alive here, as Godless will be knocked down. And there's nothing Icy can do for him. He's too far away.
You got to realize one thing, that Z3us Esports, they are used to this because they do like taking those individual fights, and revives for Z3us Esports are a pretty rare thing. So, again, they've got to hold their ground, but I do believe Icy is going to deploy a few smoke grenades for Godless. And the question is, can he actually make it to that position? Because by the time he gets there, Godless is going to meet his maker, who isn't going to be too happy with his name.
True, right? Like, imagine meeting a maker when you're Godless. That would be weird. PN crew, in the meantime, they are going to be pushing on up. They have 3 members still alive. Got a couple of points to the name. The 2 kills. Ayush ensuring Chari doesn't push in any further. Chari is kind of by his lonesome out in the open road. Now, he needs to be careful here because someone else could shoot in his direction. The nades are going to sail past him, but meantime, Legend finding Spooky, so they're just tossing in nades in every single direction, hoping one of them will find its mark, as Ayush taking a couple of shots in his backpack through the smoke, and Legend pushing on in. He is zigging and zagging, and Roy trying to keep him at bay, but Legend gets shot in from behind. The push comes on in. They're gonna get the double knock. All the Seal 9, but Ayush from the distance gets taken down. NP and crew, they get wiped out before they get the finish onto Seal 9. Now, unfortunately, though, XP, the final surviving member of Seal 9, Inky, is in the water. The res isn't coming here.
He finally does make it, and Spooky is going to be taken out by the play zone as well. Let me just tell you one thing. Joker and Heaven are the unsung heroes right now for Skylight Gaming, because they gave that perfect cover as Ayush was moving in for their kill and pretty much did most of the heavy lifting themselves. So again, that is what it's all about. It's about the team. And have a look at the circle.
Inky. Look at Inky.
I told you, all he had to do was keep swimming south. He's migrating south, but now it's going to get a little bit tricky because StalwartFlex, they do have that high hill just at the edge of the circle towards the west there. That is going to be his first obstacle. It looks like Uzim has gone for that airdrop, so he's going to come back with some good goodies in his backpack.
Well, Zeus, they try to stay alive for as long as possible, but Icy will be taken down. The nade. That's a self nade. That is so unfortunate.
And 2 went down from the same team.
That is just horrendous. It couldn't have been any worse for the side of 7C. And now Fear just getting picked off here by Jane in the distance, and they have one player left alive for 7C, and he's nowhere in the vicinity. Fear will be finished off. I don't expect Rig to survive much longer either. He's crawling away for as far as he can, but eventually he will fall as well, leaving 7C with 1 member left standing, Seal 9 with 1 member left standing, and Blood Legion as well with 1 alive.
And the man standing is Daughter, who has been in demand ever since he did showcase his prowess at the beginning of this tournament. And, well, now you really can't blame him because all the weight is going to be on his shoulders as grenades are going to be lobbed. Deadeyes Guys looking like they're in trouble.
They are looking like they are in a bit of a pickle here. Suyok, though, able to heal himself up, and the rest is going to be coming on.
Have a look at how beautiful that smoke screen is. That is just perfect. It's like art.
That is actually brilliant coming in from Deadeyes Guys. So even though they are exposed, those smokes are going to keep them safe at least for the time being. In the meantime, Johnny is on a rampage from StalwartFlex, the Pakistani team, really popping off here, but I take his name and he gets taken down. Seal 9, they crush him into the ground. DRS Gaming as well, getting eliminated 13th position. Blade will be finished off as Inky is getting shot at in multiple directions, but he doesn't care. He's still going to finish him off, and StalwartFlex, just like that, down to 2 members. It's Uzum and Crypto, who are keeping the flag flying high. Deadeyes Guys pushing in for the push entry. He's going to be knocked out as well. And look at the push from Deadeyes Guys. It is absolutely pristine, and they wipe them out. 1952 left with 1 member, and he's far, far away. No, he's still there. Entry's there, and he's going to get a reply kill, but the nade will finish him off, and that is going to be it.
Another person who's been finished off is Inky from C-Line after that valiant effort, taking down 2 members from StalwartFlex all by his lonesome. Now, I did kind of call it that, you know, they were going to be his first obstacle, and boy, oh boy, did he deliver. Now, the circle is going to shift again, and this time it's going to be Deadeyes Guys' game because the circle is pretty much on their compound.
Inky finally gets spotted out, though, and Torta as well, taken down. 1952 still have C minor alive. Now, he's trying to make a little bit of a fort there.
Let me just tell you something. Now, Deadeyes Guys are in the center of the new circle, and have a look at that little dip they have for base kit cover all around. And if that grenade is going to go in, it is going to force him out, which is... Get back in your dip.
He just spun around and just tossed a nade randomly. I think that was a nade, right? That was a nade, but fortunately, it won't find anyone. It won't find his teammates, rather. He's taking a bit of damage. He's going to be able to heal himself up, and C minor in the end. He unfortunately hits the... well, sings his final note. He will be taken out, and with that, his team will fall as well. 1952 getting eliminated as well. We're down to the final 6 teams here, XP, and 20 still alive. That ghillie suit could come in useful for Uzum
if he wants to sneak his way up to Deadeyes Guys' position, but in the car, it's not really going to be helpful.
It is indeed not going to be helpful. It's going to be like, why is a Bush driving a car? We do have Skylight Gaming. They have 4 members alive. They're going to be pushing on in. Venom Legends, though, they are looking pretty solid right now. They have 5 or 6 kills, 5 kills to the name. Nightwing, Frypan, and Steel Shot still up and running. Deadeyes Guys down to 3 as well. Salute gets spotted out. He was just spraying an INES from above. Chari's going to be the one who gets the kill and the finish, but he in turn gets knocked down by someone else. As Deadeyes Guys, though, they are holding on to this hill like their lives depends on it, and it does.
It does indeed. Skylight Gaming reduced to 1 man on his feet. The revive should be coming in. Chari and Heaven are going to be crawling closer towards Deadeyes Guys' position just to get some cover. So they still have the potential to be a whole team, but have a look at Jiggle and Snipe's position. It could be devastating for them.
It's going to be really devastating. That nade from Venom Legends, they are just beleaguering Deadeyes Guys right now with the utility, and the nades are brutal. 2 down, and the res needs to come on in. And Venom Legends, they know there's only 1 members standing right now for Deadeyes Guys, and it's risks come on in, and then they could just finish them off.
And let me tell you one thing, I did say that dip is really helpful for them, but all the grenades will roll to one position.
Jiggle, Hungrybox, he needs to take the fight, he needs to win this duel, and he will. Frypan will be knocked on down, and now Hungrybox looking for more. He's going to finish off Frypan, is he? Yes, he is. In the meantime, the rest has come on in, and I do believe his teammates are up again. Deadeyes Guys, they refuse to die.
They refuse to die indeed. Wadu is going to be picked up as well. Suyog is going to be finally taken out courtesy of Frypan over there. Of course, not all revives can come through, but that barrage of grenades is going to start once again. That was a cute bird. And now have a look at that. They all are going to roll downhill. They are lucky. They are so lucky to still be alive.
3 teams.
That's it. One is going to be lucky, and he just took 4 kills.
There were 4 teams nading them. There were 4 teams nading Deadeyes Guys, and sometimes, like you said, it looked really good for him, but in the end, with the 4 teams nading you smack in the center, you're in for a bit of a painful position there. 9 kills for Deadeyes Guys before they get eliminated in 5th place, down to the final 4 teams. Only 9 alive in the server though. Venom Legends looking pretty solid right now, but Skylight Gaming, this is their game to lose. They have all 4 players alive. A dropping right in front of Heaven X as well.
Lucky that he has level 1 West. He can upgrade to a level 3.
He can do that right now. Now the nade, the utility usage from these 3 teams, it's so very good. StalwartFlex, Crypto and Uzum, we know what these guys can do as well. And for Skylight Gaming though, they are pretty much smack in the center of the circle. Right now it's about keeping everyone else's bay, as Carnage Esports will also fall by the wayside.
The tricky situation for StalwartFlex is that they basically have teams on either end. Of course, Skylight Gaming, a 4-man squad at one end, and Venom Legends, who have been reduced to a 2-man squad, are still going to be a threat, a thorn in their side, if I may, because we've seen them time in and time out. They are good at this, and look at this. They've already used the smokes. They are moving in closer to Skylight Gaming's position. Now, this is going to divide Skylight, so that is something both these teams can capitalize on.
Are they going to have an unsaid truce between Venom Legends and StalwartFlex as they try to take on Sky? Oh, that nade could have been perfect, but it explodes just a couple of meters shy of Nightwing's position. The nade somehow, now Venom Legends having to take the brunt of the utility being tossed in by 2 teams. Second nade, it reflects off the edge of the rock. Oh my lord, Skylight Gaming, 8 kills for them. If they get a chicken dinner here, it's going to be a massive game for them. It's going to catapult them way up in the rankings as a knock comes in from Leon onto Uzum.
And we were discussing this yesterday. What's happened to Chari and the boys, because they are a heavy-hitting team, they're a hard-hitting team, and this is going to be a big, big win for them, but they still have to fight it out. We still have 4 people, 3 teams. Can they take it all the way, as Nightwing is now going to come under fire?
Steel shot barely alive on a sliver of HP. The Molotov could be it. He needs to move. He doesn't know. The Molotov's going to burn him alive here unless he heals himself right about now. But no, it's a little too deep. It's not going to find him. He's still alive and standing. But for how long is the question? As Uzum's going to be finished off here. It's basically a 4v1v1. Heaven will be knocked on down, but the rest should be coming on in. Never mind. It's the 1 man left standing. It's Crypto, and he is deploying everything he has in that backpack. But XW, I got to tell you, I don't think it's going to be enough.
He has a ghillie suit. Let's see if that's going to come in handy, because we did see Crypto do something like this against DRS yesterday, where he just wiped them out. But now Chari is going to go in for the kill. He spotted the enemy. He does have the growth that high rate of fire could be helpful. But of course, when 4 guns are trained at you, there's very little that you can do. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The fist bumps are going to be coming in because Skylight Gaming have won the first game on day 3 of the second Super Weekend.
That's a good start to the day for the lads from Skylight Gaming, and they played it to perfection in the end, keeping all 4 players live, working in tandem, and also I got a feel for Deadeyes Guys though. Like you pointed out, they had a little bit of a dip, did a little bit of depression. It was a great position.
Now the thing was, once they had a few people knocked out, of course they had to congregate at one place. It would have been ideal if all 4 of them were alive, had a little bit of cover, and were on the edges around the circle of that little dip. Well, I did kind of say it as well that, the grenades are going to roll down in one place. One of them finally did, and I do believe it was Uzum who had a wonderful, wonderful time. But with that, the first game has come to an explosive end. However, we still have 4 more action-packed games in store for you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this break.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? Kicking up the dust, if you know what I mean. We got a good thing
Hello and welcome to PUBG Mobile Pro League South Asia Season 3. We are in the second Super Weekend, just got done with the first game, and boy oh boy, it was an aggressive start. Let's move on to our analysts and ask them what did they think about this game. One of them actually predicted that the winner is going to be Skylight Gaming. The smile right there clearly showcases it. You ought to be feeling happy, Ocean.
Yeah, and talk about the MVP. Leon has 6 kills, 978 damage. 1 assist and 96 healing done. This has been a new meta as well.
Yeah.
A person who always is the MVP has the lowest healing stat for himself.
I mean, just surviving a long time. And this was quite an interesting game as well, because like 12, 13 minutes in, almost everyone was alive. The person that we see go down earlier on in this match is because of the zone and like the healing being switched.
Yeah.
That was such an awkward moment.
I mean, I don't know what happened with the player at that moment. I mean,
XB,
putting up the first aid, but then at the final moment decides to go for the bandage, and it was a bit too late. But talk about the contribution. You can see with the damage taken, and obviously with the kills, it is a good percentage out here in the contribution donut for Leon.
And as I said, it was an interesting game. Towards the end, I mean, we were pretty sure Skylight Gaming was going to take this because their position was so good. They have control of that high ground. They have control of that that small hill that's there. The teams are on the other side of the curves relative to their position, and well, they had the circle on them as well.
Exactly. I mean, top-notch performance coming in from the lads. But along with that, let's move on to our top players coming in from this first game. And in that, we have quite a segregated turn of events, which is good.
Yeah, it is good. D also had a good game in this one.
Yes.
I mean, the momentum that they had going for themselves this week is still present. They are still, well, using it in their favor. And Venom Legends. So I did not predict the winners, but I called it like Venom Legends and the DRS. Well, it was a bit of a scuffle there. That DRS were taken out earlier on in the match. But Venom Legends, they are still playing really well.
They certainly are. I mean, Venom Legends actually walked away with 8 kills this time, and that was looking really good and, well, in control. That's what you need. You need to be consistent, and that's what they're doing every single time. With that, let's move on to the match summary coming in from this game, and that will, of course, showcase a lot more stats.
Exactly. I mean, talking about this one, we already saw the players of SG just doing good for themselves. I mean, Leon was there with the highest damage and highest skills for himself. Heaven with the maximum assist, but PN Killer YT coming up with the 17 utilities, and StalwartFlex's Johnny with 304 meter. That's the longest distance skill in this particular match. So yeah, it has been a good affair for the players. But talk about the circle, right? Just like you said, you know, they had the circle for themselves. The only good thing the other teams could have done is have more players alive. That kind of gives you a chance to play around those hills. If not, you know, go head to head or straight up.
That, or there was this one moment where Skylight Gaming decided to go for a 2v2 split fight, wherein 2 players were focusing Venom Legends and 2 players were focusing StalwartFlex right there. Had one of the teams actually taken down one or even just one duo completely, then Skylight Gaming would have been in trouble. But they realized their mistake, they regrouped, and they decided to focus one by one.
Which was a very critical moment right there, because again, that could have made or break that game, but it did certainly work in their favor. With that, let's have a look at the match stand, where of course we know that Skylight Gaming did walk away with, well, a chicken dinner, along with which of course they've got $1,000 in the bag and 27 points.
Top 4 teams. Look at the high kill gameplay that we always talk about, right? Winning team always has that highest skills for themselves. But 12, 11, 8 and 9, Venom Legends, DE, StalwartFlex, these 4 teams had a really good performance for themselves. Seal9, they tried to put up their foot on the pedal, but that it was not enough at that moment. But Carnage getting good placement points for themselves.
And talking about StalwartFlex, I mean, the team is back at it again. 11 kills in a single game. I mean, it's just the first game of the day, but I hope they keep performing this way throughout the rest of the matches. But as we move forward to the next page of the standing, we have Train to Kill, High Voltage Speed Crew. So a few teams, including Z3us Esports, that we expect to perform, to get those kills, to get those points. But this match, it was a tough one. And especially, I mean, a lot of the fights that took place during the later stages were, well, sort of chaotic, just because you're taking cover based on the team that you see in front of you, and then you are obviously going to get flanked because there are so many teams, so many players alive, and, well, everyone is just there.
Exactly. Because again, I mean, when you talk about things like that, it is of course the team's rotations that we're talking about, and in that, we certainly need to bring up the zone analysis, where this time around, again, so many of the teams certainly were looking comfortable in their drop locations, but the way the the game actually panned out based on the circle was, well, unexpected.
We've seen so many circles onto these areas, right? So the players also just, get to know from time to time where the circle's going, how can we play around these areas. Plus, obviously, look at StalwartFlex and look at Venom Legends, right? They had a good area for themselves, no team around that till the previous circle, but once the team started forming up, they knew how to take up the fights. I mean, StalwartFlex never had to look at their backs. All fights were constituted at the front only.
Exactly, and that sort of gives them the advantage in a situation that, yeah, they can be aggressive. They don't have to worry about watching their back. All their attention can be tunnel visioned and focused towards the front. But this is where sort of DE are about to dig a grave for themselves when they try and take cover into that dip between the four small hills, and well, they get they get stuck in a hailstorm of grenades right there, and it was quite a wonderful sight to watch for us as spectators, for us as analysts, and I'm pretty sure the casters enjoyed it as well. But if you are a player from DE right there, Hungry Box or one of the other lads, you definitely do not want to be in that situation again.
Most certainly not. I mean, that was one of those moments that certainly could have worked in their favor, but eventually the way all the teams knew the location and had the information, of course, there was no two ways. They had to go down. But along with that, I mean, those were just a few moments that we just spoke about. There were so many that took place throughout the game. Let's move on to the moments to describe them all.
I mean, if we're just, talking about the initial fights, that's one thing. But while we are watching these movements, I would just tell you one thing. And, the slow pace that Zeus is picking up right now, I would say that was somehow needed for the team. Because previously, team used to play just by their own gameplay, their own rules, just going in, just getting the kills and all. But now, once the team is going down, they get to understand the lobby as well, what the lobby is doing, what the lobby is doing different as compared to us. So this was kind of needed for Zeus. But once they'll start again really good.
But a couple of seconds ago, the play that we saw Inky make from C9 taking down the players of StalwartFlex, that was really interesting. I mean, because he was in that situation alone, did see two players, they were knocked out, just goes for the finish instantly and falls back, disappears completely. And this is the situation that we were talking about now. A nade is going to come from the side of Uzim, and it just picks off the players of DE. Look at that. So Carnage is there, Venom is there grenading them, StalwartFlex is there grenading them. Like, they're taking so many nades, so much utility is being well used to take out that one team, but now this is the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it just ends it down because Crypto, he was just out there using his growth out to the perfection, though, to take down one player, but did not finish it. Had that been one extra kill point, obviously that would have been some sort of damage for themselves, obviously. But talking about the damage right now, I mean, all right, is this for real? Well, 1846, 1846.
Yeah, indeed it is. But on the other side of this, of course, you're looking at a few teams that only walked away with 16 damage, 0 kills, of course, and XP Blood Legion not off to a great start, and following very close is going to be the Real Soldiers with only 40 damage then.
Well, I would say, at the back side, you could see again 3 teams up here, 0 kills for them. But INES was also out there. INES was playing for the placements for themselves, as you could just see, they were playing really good. Had they got a chance of some more fights for themselves, because you could see the damage that they were doing was really good, 500 plus damage for themselves.
INES, I feel like, is still trying to find that perfect balance with which they can get a decent number of kills and get a decent number of position points as well. And once they do that is when we are going to see this team become a threat. Because, again, a very well-reputed lineup in the past as well, have showcased brilliant performances. But missing out on the first week, on the first Super Weekend, coming to this Super Weekend, I think that sort of does create a lot of pressure on this team.
Exactly, it creates a bit of a hurdle, simply put. But again, in that hurdle, you have to find that grind, and you have to find what brings your team synergy together, and that is what INES certainly is going to be trying. But along with that, when you talk about the overall storyboard, this is where Z3us Esports certainly are leading the charts, but Deadeyes Guys picking up the pace on towards 5th now.
Yeah, amazing performance from Deadeyes Guys and StalwartFlex. Look at them as well, climbing up 2 positions. But Skylight Gaming with this chicken dinner, the first chicken dinner they have, they win $1,000 and they bring themselves inside the top 10. So it's going to take them, I think, 1 or 2 games more before they can surpass A1 Esports, move to the top 9, or take on Seal Esports and move to the top 8. But they have definitely established themselves in a really strong position.
Exactly.
Now we see the points dropping.
Exactly. For the other teams, you can see P and Crew, right? They are trying their level best as well, just trying to take up the fights for themselves. Venom Legends, again, consistency is the key for this team yesterday and today as of the first game. I would love to see how XP Blood Legions just, pans out for their own game, because they are the team that just, goes down with, just look at the placement points gap that just goes down from there to the other team. So they need one good placement point game then they might just, start up.
And if things keep on going the way they are right now, then Seal9 by the end of today might just take over XP Blood Legion as well and move to the position right above.
Absolutely, because again, when you talk about teams that were not able to participate in this first Super Weekend, right? There's the second Super Weekend, of course. In that, the team that has certainly showcased the pace that needs when it comes to the Super Weekend is going to be Seal9.
Yes.
No two ways about it. The way they've been able to just move on along from one game to the other, one map to the other in this second Super Weekend is fabulous to be able to see. But with that, now we move on to Miramar.
Exactly. Talk about moving from map to map. Now it's time for map number 2, Miramar, which yesterday again was a pretty fun one.
Yep.
It was a good one because no one expected what to happen till the end, right? One player surviving, has an M4, takes down a few players. It does not have a backpack, so for final player, just takes down an M249 and just charges in with everything. So yeah, that was a different Miramar as compared to what we have already seen from the other games, because there are mostly those teams that dominate that have all the players surviving or something.
Not just that, in this map specifically on Miramar, most of the times we see team take fights unless they are in those urban locations like Los Leones. The way to take fights is like take those long distance engagements and try and finish off the players once they're exposed out in the open. Yesterday we saw a lot of Russians coming in.
Absolutely, and in that we have the stats that are going to show, well, P and crew should be able to take this based on the stats, but alongside them, of course, there's going to be Venom Legends and XP Blood Legion and Seal9. Now, all these teams need to certainly bring up their gameplay because they are looking really good, but they better showcase a bit more of aggression.
Well, if I have to talk about these teams, right, I would say I might just stand by the chance of XP Blood Legions somehow.
Yes, that's what I'm looking at because they're on the third. Based on that, they could very well be the stronghold in this game.
I think they can, because this is the map. If XP Blood Legions needs one game, just as we were talking about the difference of their placement points versus the other teams, this might be one game that they need for themselves, because their stats compared to the other maps and all are pretty good in this one.
Alright, but alright, I'm going to differ with Ocean over here, and I'm going to go with, again, I'm not going to predict the winner. I'm not going to even try and attempt that because that is a difficult job, and also I don't have a crystal ball that Ocean has. But I'm going to say that I expect INES to actually rack up a good number of points in this one.
That would be good. That certainly would be good for us as well as the team, as well as the viewers sitting back at home, because that's what we want to be able to see, because that is the aggression that's lacking when it comes to INES.
Actually, I think INES will be doing good as well in this match, just because of one thing again. Obviously, they are not out there, but the way they have started up this weekend for themselves, because they knew what was at stake, they knew that they were lagging behind, they knew they had to just accumulate points. Once they get a point accumulative game for themselves, they start moving good. And then in the upcoming games as well, they continue that thing somehow. So that's a really good thing. Plus, after this, it'll be Erangel. Once Miramar ends up, they know what to do on Erangel once like they are in that zone for themselves.
True, but then again, I mean, Ocean, when you bring that conversation back towards Erangel or Miramar for that matter, or any other map, right? You know, when it comes to drop locations, they are pretty much set up. But the flight path certainly does bring in a bit of a curveball when it comes to these, and that is where we've seen teams like INES, A1 as well, you know, falter back onto their own gameplay. But boy, oh boy, it is certainly exhilarating when it comes to the entire lobby, and we are looking really comfortable with all the points that are moving on along game per game. But in that, now it is time to move on along with the second game. It is time to move into Miramar with the two lads who are going to be taking us through. Today it is Necro and Fixes.
Well, thank you so much, Lakshay. And predictions, we have been making that for quite some time, and well, I must say, they have all been wrong. And that's the beauty of the Pro League this time. You know, all these teams coming in, putting their best foot forward and heading on towards Miramar. So I'm not going to ask you which team is going to win, but where do you want the circle to be, Necro?
Well, I really want kind of an off circle, you know, to be honest. I want circle inside the city of El Azhar. A real off circle that would be quite challenging.
Okay.
And, I mean, again, depends on the PUBG gods if they want to bless us. But if that circle actually comes in the game, then, wow, that would be quite devastating for a lot of teams.
So, Necro certainly does want to see some urban warfare kind of being broken out amongst all these teams. And we know, I mean, if it goes towards El Azhar, teams like Zeus will have that massive advantage. Not that they're already on the top of the table and racking up so many kills and points for themselves. But we have seen the Nepali team step up, and by stepping up, it's just not one, it's everyone. It's everyone. They are getting those chicken dinners back and forth. And, well, we did see the boys from 1952 do also sort of rise up to the occasion. So some Bangladeshi power also being put over there, but in the Fury map of Miramar. Now, this has been one of those maps which, you know, people tend to be usually slow, but no, that's not the case over here. We've seen the fights right off the bat. We've seen so many fights erupting, and with that being said, we have the flight path trajectory right in front of us, where it's heading all the way from Puerto Paraiso to El Pozo.
Now that you've mentioned the Mongolians and the Bangladeshi teams, I need to put one more region inside. That's going to be Pakistani. And what a performance from StalwartFlex. Now, how can we ignore those lads? Especially that nade from Uzum. Coming inside on the players of Deadeyes, of course the Nepali team, and just obliterating them all across with that one nade. Well placed, and what a precision.
I think StalwartFlex are the stars of Pakistan with the way they are playing. I mean, every single fans have their hearts rooted towards them, and they are also hoping. And well, we've seen StalwartFlex, you know, trying to do their best, and with the way Crypto has been playing, and we did just witness Uzum with those fantastic grenades over there in Erangel. But when you head into Miramar, it changes everything. Now, we've seen a lot of early game fights over here, and it tends to be a very open circle towards the end. We see very few teams, not really what we are accustomed to in a standard map of Miramar.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, even as you did mention, you know, in Miramar there are a lot of like open circles, but in Miramar there are a lot of ridges as well. Even if it's an open, there are a lot of wiggly grounds, you know, where it's like up and down, and you do certainly find a lot of ridges for yourself. So I really feel like open grounds in Miramar is not that harmful for a lot of teams. But again, in Erangel, open grounds are way too bad because you don't really have a lot of cover for yourself. But now, talking about things going down really bad, take a look at the position inside Los Leones. StalwartFlex, TDK, and A1 Esports right next to each other, and even Venom Legends and 7C are right next to each other as well. Now, only time can tell how things will be panning out.
And not just that, we've got Venom Legends and 7C right, you know, maybe taking a few fights against each other towards Impala. And well, Necro, your wishes might be granted. I mean, El Azhar is still in contention, but I do not really see Zeus heading out over there. We've seen them, you know, try out a lot of different drop locations, and this time they've done exactly the same, dropping off at La Drillera.
Yeah, exactly. You know, even yesterday we saw you know, Zeus dropping off at Monte Nuevo, which is quite, you know, like a curveball being thrown from the lads. We definitely did not expect. And yesterday we did see, you know, Skylight Gaming as well dropping next to Monte Nuevo, and I really feel like Zeus actually, you know, gave them quite a tough competition inside the city. But again, El Azhar, uncontested, no one is inside there. 7C are quite scared to always go in there. Just because of them, you know. They never go inside El Azhar because that one time they faced off against each other, and that's when 7C got absolutely dismantled one by Zeus. And that's when, you know, they actually switched their drop locations to any other cities.
I think they went Torre Hamoud after that, and this time they did drop off at Impala, now making that long rotation from the eastern side, heading on towards El Azhar. And well, they are lucky. They have to thank the stars. I mean, nobody's there. They're going to have a good time. And I really want to see if any of these teams sort of take that northern route. Now, there's nobody. There's nobody absolutely present over there, and C-Line might just be heading towards that direction. Now, once you have that entire area on your control over there, so then what you can really do is try to head on a bit towards the south, or maybe play circle to circle, and either way it's going to favor you because you are assured of the fact that there's no one on your tail.
Yeah, exactly. And I also want to point out that Blood Legion this time taking quite a brave move and going for the Hacienda del Patron. Now, in the past, they went once, and they were actually, you know, getting capitalized by a squad, and it was almost like a 1-on-3 situation where they got punished down by the players of StalwartFlex, I believe.
Yeah, it was that. We did see that shotgun fights also happen over there, and well, I think it was just that one player, Dominic, who was really far away, and Blood Legion really started off well, but they could not carry it forward. But moving along, I mean, this is a circle. I think we can witness it somewhere shrinking down towards maybe Hacienda del Patron, and I mean Deadeyes. I think they're also going to enjoy a good time over there because, you know, their rivals, so that is Team F4. This time they're not playing the Super Weekend, so they're going to have that delicious loot over there in the big city.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, delicious loot, of course, that's what each and every single team is searching for, and that is going to be their mark as well and as their target. But now, I also want to see some early game fights. Up till now, it's quite peaceful, and I don't really like peace. I want some fights happening. and I want some blood being shed on these deserts.
Hey, you're being greedy over here. Come on, let these players get their loot, and then we might see even better fights, because that is exactly what happened in Erangel. I mean, they had a lot of nades, they had a lot of smoke. So in those final circles, we did have that artificial red zone being built up.
Yeah.
So many nades being popped out in the air, and we did have so many smokes. So that sort of makes those end games really interesting. If these players have everything that they really want for themselves, you have got the perfect set of weapons, you've got the scopes going in, you've got absolutely everything. But now 1952, the kind of a gameplay that they displayed yesterday in the final game of Erangel, I mean, I really want to see something more like that.
Exactly. That's what I want to see as well. But now, again, I also want to point out one thing, that TDK, A1 Esports, and StalwartFlex have created themselves a quite, you know, like at least a breathable space. They are quite separated out from each other, at least for now, because there is quite a little bit of gap. But this time seems like TDK are going to be taking that aggressive step and stepping outside the entire city, as they are quite not interested in brawling against A1 or even StalwartFlex, which is quite a brilliant decision, of course, if you want to make it alive till those late game circles. Even if you take any one of those fights, you will of course have any of those casualties going on your name, and you certainly do not really want those casualties happening early off on your side, at least.
Indeed. I mean, I really would not want to lose out on my squad mates right in the early of the game. I mean, towards after the 20 minutes mark, one player lost. I think we can still live with that. But right from the get-go, losing out on maybe one or two, that's not the way you would want things to happen, because you come in with a mindset that you are going to get inside the final circle. You're going to have that ideal game going in for you. And that's the beauty of these battle royales. You come in with a plan and everything just goes falling down. And you need to adapt, and you need to adjust, and you need to acknowledge the fact that, well, you know, the circle is never going to be your friend. But what you can do is try to respect it. Every time the circle gets formed, have your vehicles, have enough vehicles, build those covers for yourself, act accordingly, don't make hasty rushes. So that is those small little tips and tricks that really might just help you in getting that chicken.
Exactly, and even the Destiny writer inside PUBG is going to be those PUBG devs. Whatever they decide will be happening inside the game, and then you will have to adjust according to that.
Fear the gods.
Yep, you gotta fear the god, and you gotta respect him as well. And if you
Unless
don't
you're
respect
Zeus.
him, if you don't respect him, then we have seen, you know, a lot of teams down to the play zones and stuff, and you don't really want that. But Zeus, again, as you did mention, unless you're Zeus, because these lads are just absolutely careless. They don't care about anything. I really feel like at this point in time, sometimes don't even play really serious. It's just like they just straight inside push or ram their vehicles on a compound, and they just directly start fighting against the team. But the way these guys approach the fights, it's also quite fascinating witness. As talking about fights happening, it's going to be 1952 going up against Skylight Gaming, and Skylight Gaming has already found an opening onto the players of 1952, and this feels like deja vu, because we have seen this kind of same thing happening in the past and on this map as well.
Yeah, and in this certain area.
And on this map as well.
Yeah, and in this certain area also, this time the team, however, is going to be different. It's going to be Skylight Gaming, as C Minor is caught in a very sticky position. Now he has to hold things all by himself, as two players are going to push in tandem towards him, and he's not going to survive. Finally goes down, leaving just one player alive. He has, of course, made the exit. Of course, that's going to be entry. That's going to be entry over there. But you know, the similar situation sort of happened last time also. I think it was against the players of Deadeyes that dished out the hurt.
Yeah, it was. I think so, it was, if my memory serves me right.
Yeah.
But again, Zeus are going to be the third party inside the fight, of course, are there to, you know, rack up those extra bit of kills that are left. And it seems like a lot of shots are being connected from those DMRs, but not really able to find its mark, as none of them will be knocked out. But now again, Skylight Gaming are quite scared a lot. Take a look at how Heaven is repositioning himself inside the God building, as he's just going to be taking that high ground for himself. And I also want to point out where Chari has positioned himself. So he's all the way separated from the teams on those left top lines. That might also be quite a surprising factor for Zeus if they do not know his position or compromise his position down in time. But again, High Voltage taking quite a bit of shots from the players of TDK. Will make it out alive though without any trouble.
So Godless again, yielding that bolt action. Yeah, he is, and you know, you gotta do that.
Yep, there you go.
Try to reduce your opponent's mobility, and that is exactly what they're doing. And the moment Heaven sort of tends to peak, his head might just be popped off. But that's just being Zeus. Now, we were having that discussion about this particular team, right? Now, they're looking at the bigger picture. Next is what? They know that they're getting to the finals. So, this is the time where they sort of can experiment around all those strats that they might want to execute during when things really actually matter, when the prize pool even increases further. So, I think it's a perfect time. You've got a very commanding lead. You're still in a comfort zone. You can still, lose out on a few games. And by the looks of it, by the way they're playing, that's not the case. They're getting those kills. Even if not the chicken dinner, then the kills and the position points are helping them to stay at the tippity top.
Yeah, I mean, Zeus are doing quite good, There's no doubt in that. The way these guys are playing is surely favoring them. But again, now take a look at Skylight Gaming. Quite in those nearby vicinities, of course, Zeus tried to third-party these lands, but Skylight Gaming, again, playing it out real safe and slow. Didn't really want it to get knocked out or have a casualty on their name by the players of Zeus. But it seems like Zeus will be wrapping right from the back. They are not going to be leaving. All they're doing is just camping the edge of the zone. That means they do know that Skylight Gaming will be leaving their vehicles or will be leaving their compounds and will try to make it inside the zone. But now talking about things leaving, it seems like Gyro has been found all in the open, and maybe his soul will leave the body soon enough if the kill will be confirmed.
On the good side of things, it's entry after all, and he needs to be very, very careful, because the moment he sort of tends to overextend, I think that's when he'll just get finished off, and that would actually mean 1952 taking a very early exit. So yeah, Blood Legion still have that time and space to go in, get the revives done, and then maybe move forward. Now the problem with Blood Legion is that they do not really have a lot of vehicles to play around with, and that's one of those shortcomings that you get when you drop off at Hacienda del Patron. You just get that golden Mirado, and then it comes down to your luck if you've got a few vans here and there. But
again!
Gyro again being taken down. This time, however, he's going to get the kill confirmed. No, but what on earth are Ryan and Leo doing?
Leo's all the way in those right lines. Now, again, he does have himself set up for that perfect flank. Only if Entry decides to make a move onto the players of Blood Legion, but doesn't seem like he is going to, though. Again, he is the solo player surviving from 1952 and will need to back off. Should not be challenging the fights, which he's doing quite good. And again, you don't really have a lot of grass, so you cannot just be proning in the open ground thinking that the enemy team won't be spotting you down. So, of course, you will need to find yourself a proper compound for yourself to get hidden perfectly. Now, I also want to see where the next zone will be panning out, because that is going to be a interesting factor in how these teams will be making the rotation and the circle that I wanted to see. I even told you I want to see the circle, and it seems like the PUBG gods have listened to my prayers. And finally, we are seeing the same circle inside the game.
Well, sometimes they hear us, and I believe in them. And Icy with a beautiful knock, onto which Chari would want to get the confirmation, though, but it's still really far-fetched, considering the players of Skylight Gaming are already very close by. But with that being said, the second airdrop coming right in front of our screens, that's a deadly gun, the Groza, and well, it has sort of been kind of crafted by the demons. And well, the way things are happening right now, you can't really tend to believe your eyes.
Kun is just absolutely devastating, raining down bullets on the players of Skylight Gaming. He even blasted a vehicle down and took down Heaven right from that vehicle. Skylight Gaming aren't really having the time of their life. They are quite in a bit of pickle and a lot of trouble. They need to find themselves a better position. Now, of course, the only vehicle that they had was the initial one, and seems like that will be blown away as well by the players of High Voltage. Now, take a look at what Kun is doing. He's driving himself all the way back. He does know Joker is somewhere down line in those back lines, and he's trying to contest him down. But is he going to be spotting him down, though? But now talking about things getting spotted down, Crypto from StalwartFlex getting spotted down. The entire squad of StalwartFlex is making that rotation all in the open grounds. And again, of course, they will be getting shotted down, but not any casualties, though.
But here we have the boys from Blood Legion. I mean, they've been taking quite some hurt right from the start, and this is a moment where they can get a kill for themselves, and all they need to do is anticipate Jekyll's position. They might have heard that bandage being popped off, and this is where they might just go in. But Gyro, he can get taken down, but before that, he gets traded off instantly, as Jekyll is going to lose out on his life, as Blood Legion sort of get into sweet cover, and will get those revives back on. Now, this is a kind of a circle that is definitely going to favor the boys from DRS, and and looks like Manish is gonna want to make a move, because the reason being why? Because they've got Blood Legion closed in that one small compound, and a few good grenades might just do the job.
For a second, I thought Carnage want the Vengeance, but again, it seems like they are going to be on that back pedal. Yeah. They are backing off. But now, take a look at what Shifuser are doing. Putting down a lot of lead onto the players of Zeus, and I don't really feel like he's going to be able to connect any, so, I mean, you're just wasting down your bullets at this point. And again, he has hurt the players from Blood Legion in those nearby phases, and he has hurt the players of Carnage as well. Now, he needs to be as cautious as he can, because there are two squads right in front of him. If they are going to be approaching even one fight, the third party will be there anytime soon. Now, take a look at the players of Blood Legion. In a world of trouble, they need to make themselves comfortable, as the zone is also taking damage on the players of Deadeyes, but it's not going to be mattering because Blood Legion are looking so uncomfortable. Take a look at Nuclear. Nuclear is all out in the open, knocked out, and how are they going to be making the res and making sure that the team is safe?
They're going to be demolished from absolutely everywhere. It's 7C, it's Deadeyes, it's Carnage, but Ryan falling down to the vehicle explosion might just want to confirm the kill, and that's Rig, in fact, dealing the final bullet over there, and Blood Legion, they've been taken out. Now, this certainly comes down to the fact that they did not have enough vehicles, right? They did have two, but that was just not enough. One had been already blasted away. They should have gone in search for another one, but that's the thing with competitive PUBG Mobile. You do not get a lot of them around.
Now, mind this, that team that actually was putting down a lot of lead onto Blood Legion, and that had the main hand behind the entire squad of Blood Legion getting eliminated, was Deadeyes. And yesterday we did see the rivalry between these two building up, and now it seems like the Vengeance again will be there on the board, and I really want to see which team is going to be the dominating one, but for now it seems like Deadeyes are going to be the one. But Carnage again putting Deadeyes in a heap of trouble, already taking down two of the players. Now Deadeyes are of course down to that one last man surviving, and that's going to be just such a devastating off start for them in those late game circles.
I mean, the olive branch was definitely raised, but with the way things are going, certainly, tells otherwise. But anyways, getting back to the game, Deadeyes, after that beautiful squad wipe, they are reduced down to Hungry Box. Now, I believe in this lad. I know that he is capable of doing bigger things, and he's done that in the past, to prove his footing for why he deserves to play from such a beautiful lineup over there. But 7C is sort of an exchange duel against Team Zeus, as Memo is trying to put the lead in, has a bit of damage being dealt, but nothing much to really hurt the players. But Carnage, they are right out in the open. Prabeen needs to get into cover, but Fear playing from a really precarious position. I mean, he had the chance to get the knock, but he did not go for it. But of course, it was Totter after all getting that beautiful knock, and with that, Carnage are in a bit of a pickle over there.
There is such inconvenience as Carnage again are getting peppered down from the hilltop. Fear being the man, putting down a lot of bullets. Take a look at what Assassin is doing. He's bobbing and weaving those bullets. Sinister not able to connect them.
Annoying.
And yeah, Sinister is like, oh my god, you know what? I'm just gonna get annoyed and just spam my escapes all over the place. It's a good way to annoy your enemy if you're knocked out. Just certainly. I mean, you do know you are gonna die anyway, so it's just like why not just just throw down a little bit of salt.
He did get into his heads.
Yeah.
He did. He actually legit did. But 7C, again, having that high ground advantage for themselves. Just waiting for Manish to reveal himself. Oh, that's some nasty damage being done. That might be it. And with that, 7C get another beautiful squad wipe.
Oh boy, 7C eliminating out a squad like Carnage. I mean, again, they had to make the rotation inside the circle as well, and 7C were those guardian angels of the circle. But another fight panning out, as Zeus are not looking good in their initial spot. At first, they were looking quite good, even when they were making the rotation and third-partying a lot of fights. But now Zeus are going to be the one which are getting pressured from all across the sides. And again, PM crew are in those further frays, as 7C are right next to Deadeyes Hungry Box. Now, I really feel like Hungry Box is doing here is that he is just playing it out as safe as he can. He does know he's the last man surviving for the team, and talking about last man surviving, it's going to be a 1952 entry as well.
Absolutely. Now with the circle taking a shift towards the northeast side, if we can have the map feed right in front of our screens, any single moment that we are going to have it, I can really tell for a fact that C-Line does have a very commanding position. Now, why is the question? Because now they can take that eastern route in. Now we've got T2K right behind the tails, but if somehow they can lose them out, this is a very good chance for them to get the chicken dinner, because they're sort of avoiding all that commotion that is going to come in from the western side.
Exactly, and talking about commotion again, now, I also want to point one thing out. Now, INES in a hip of trouble, and seems like PN Crew already have a casualty on their name. It's going to be Legend falling down and ripped apart as DRS Guys and his teammates are going to be raining down a lot of bullets onto the players of INES. Ironic being the one separated out from the pack, and again, he doesn't have any other choice. He needs to reunite, but he is in a heap of trouble, and he certainly needs to find himself that comfortable spot where he will be in his prime. But take a look at Venom Legends out of the circle, taking a lot of zone damage, and finally seems like they will be making it in, as barely Nightwing made it as well.
I mean, not the perfect vehicle to go inside the circle at a situation
and
like
they're
that.
Gonna get punished.
Yes, they are going to deal with the aftermath of it, as Steel Shot, I believe, is going to be the last player surviving for his team. Not anymore, as Venom Legends, I believe, have been finally wiped out. Not the best way to go down, considering how good this team has been playing in the map of Miramar. And now, well, Killer has spotted out Zeol, and with that, down go Team Zeus as well.
I also want to point one thing out. 7C Rick, he's a phenomenal sniper. We've seen yesterday as well, he was connecting some insane shots, and today as well, showing that presence inside the game. But now the fight is happening between the players of T2K and C-Line. It seems like C-Line are on an aggressive step, as they are going to be lobbing the nades as well. Now Sarga, in a heap of trouble, needs to find himself in a better position, and it seems like he will. Now, they are rotating all the way across to the right side, but T2K, all they have is just that ridge line for themselves to provide that cover, but for how long is going to be the question. They will be playing around it. Now, Jane, of course, on that aggressive step, will be lobbing in some nades as well. He's exposed, his legs are exposed, and of course, C-Line Roy will be capitalizing onto it. Jane getting punished for over-aggression. And kind of somewhere down the line, T2K did not really expect the players of C-Line having such kind of a brilliant positioning, as blah 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 is going to be challenging the fight as well. It's finding Spooky down, and now Myunki and Inky are only going to be those last two members surviving from them.
And now T2K also, they have to push in, but from elsewhere, it is the boys from StalwartFlex coming in from the back lines, rather taking them down, giving that breathing space to the players of C-Line. Now, PN Crew, we know how deadly they can be. All they need is just that one player to get the chicken dinner, but not having the best of positioning, as they have already been spotted out by Gyalzin, who has, of course, lobbed that grenade, has dished out quite some damage. Yeah, the healing did come out, but not enough, as again, the second grenade doing the job, and Killer Whitey just getting wiped out.
DRS is one of the best teams when it comes to utility usage, and again, the precision from these lads is just relentless, as they do not miss any single of their utilities. Now, Legend, of course, being in those nearby phrases of DRS, they probably think that the entire PN Crew squad might be down, because that nade actually did get him. But Legend is still alive, and his teammate is next to him somewhere down the line, but he's separated out from him. He certainly needs to reunite. And only time will tell if he's going to be making it. But take a look at the last from 7C are going to be the one to third party this entire fight, as he was StalwartFlex from the backline, is putting down a lot of pressure onto the players of C-Line as well. But 7C lobbing in a lot of nades. C-Line taking a lot of damage, but 7C's back is exposed. They need to watch out.
I was just gonna tell it, that Hungry Box was still making it alive, still keeping himself there during all these fights, you know, just breaking out. But 7C certainly do have the best position inside the circle. Now, considering the fact that DRS, they've got 3 of their players alive, this also can be their chicken, but they have to play the cards right. But 7C, they are actually owning this map right now, with completely controlling this fight over onto its C-Line, considering their high ground advantage that they have, getting all those movements being pinned down onto with them, as a few nades from Totter just going out, but not really doing a lot of damage. I really felt that this is the moment where 7C could just come up and instill that hurt, but it's Totter's nade right on the point, right on the money, as Spooky has gone down, as the fight has finally erupted.
Exactly. Now 7C do have the high ground, but it also seems like they have spotted down a team on their right lines, and it's going to be Seal9. Now again, Seal9 is in front of the front phrase, as Myuki is going to be challenging the fight, and it's going to get punished instantly immediately by Fear. He's going to be putting down a lot of lead right inside his skull as Fear is closing down the distance, getting real up close and personal, but he doesn't want to get too confident, you know, because if he's too confident, if he pushes it right through the smoke, he will be punished. But now they're getting third-partied as well as PN Crew is putting down a lot of lead right in their direction as Sundays being the man. We have seen this man yesterday do some phenomenal work, and if he pulls off the same stuff again, then that might be just all over the place.
Why? Why did 7C not push? They could have just deployed a smoke onto its eastern side and might have committed in. And this gives that enough breathing spaces to the players of C-Line. Look at them. Every single player has been brought back up. Now, this is going to be disastrous considering how 7C have not really capitalized. And now they're going to get punished for that. Now, this is where C-Line are actually making their move. Now, C-Line do have the upper advantage as Myunke is going to charge in and has got that pan around just to kind of, dilute his movement over there, not really give it away to his opponents. But look at how enclosed 7C are, and Sandesh with that beautiful AWM shot, getting that beautiful knock onto its rig. Now this sort of opens things up, and now the only thing that's sort of deterring C-Line to make that push is the presence of DRS, and that they have already made themselves felt.
Exactly. Now, Spooky's, of course, in those close lines of DRS, and he's trying to hold him off as another fight is panning down. 7C taking a lot of shots onto the players of PN Crew. DRS in a heap of trouble. They need to find themselves a better and comfortable spot as Uzum, as we spotted from the backlines, he's going to be doing a lot of work as Spooky from C-Line has been taken down by Uzum, and StalwartFlex again showing a dominating performance as Uzum is, of course, going to be the last man surviving from that team. And he doesn't really make it seem like he's the last man, but again, Inky with style finishing out the entire squad of StalwartFlex, and that's going to be an end to the Pakistani region inside the server.
Indeed, it is going to be our C-Line. They are inching in close to their victory. Now, Johnson is the last surviving member for the players of DRS, and how long is he going to do that? Taking a lot of damage from the eastern side. It's going to be Myunke hitting the final nail in the coffin over there as PN Crew. They're still surviving, so that's some really good survival points for them over there. But now Sandesh needs to watch it because 7C, they are actually pushing together, and Sandesh has been spotted out, gets sprayed down as Rig goes pushing in, and that's not just going to end there as they're going to Memo is going to be the last player putting the final nail in the coffin as PN Crew, they've been wiped out, bringing us to the last two teams as Roy gets that first opening knock. Now this is the fight again, and this time maybe C-Line can do it.
C-Line can definitely do it. They have it in them. Now the fight is breaking down fair and square as it's just that one-on-one team going up against each other. Which one will come out on top? C-Line have done a phenomenal job overall out surviving the entire situations that they have been put against. And now 7C as well. Rig, we did see him connecting, some incredible sniper shots. And now this is where Rig needs to shine again. And Fear trying to get the res onto Nemo. But Inky, this is your chance. You might need to push in and try to deny that raise. As Totter is there in the backlines. Even if Inky does decide to push right inside, Totter will be punishing him for exposing his body. Now the entire setup from these lads is just outstanding. From both these squads, they are separated out from all over the angle. Now Roy and Inky kind of being in those close lines. And then Myunke is just all the way far across. He's kind of holding that lurking angle. And now, finally, Inky has been spotted by the players of 7C as Totter is going to be taking a lot of damage onto him.
Indeed, he will. But, 7C, they have to get inside the circle and they need to do it quick because it's the 8th one just going to start off any single moment. Now, Myunke is there to sort of hold them off. So the moment Rig sort of comes out in the open, gives himself away, that's where he's going to get taken down. But finally, the fight that we are all waiting for is going to happen anytime soon. As these players have certainly run out of those frag grenades. And Inky trying to just get a bit up close and personal. But Myanmar, he's not revealing himself.
Exactly. Now, of course, you should not be revealing. Even if one of those casualties is not really favoring your team, then that won't be working out. If C-Line manages to get one, and again, now, Rig kind of disappointing his teammates. Nemo taking a lot of zone damage as well. He might go down. What is happening to the players of 7C? They are just committing suicides outside the play zone. This is not what we expect from you lads. Now, C-Line is kind of just they are just getting hand over the wind from the players of 7C. As Totter is trying his best to defend down, and Fear as well, trying to fight back, but he's getting contested from all over the angles as Myunke is going to be putting down pressure, and that's going to be Fear taking down as well, and that's C-Line. 7C handed the win over to the players of C-Line.
Well, that's quite a way to put it, and they had the chance. They had the chance, and it did sort of bite them up. towards the end as C-Line, of course, coming out as the victors, the ones getting the chicken dinner. And along with that, $1,000 again. And, well, 7C were phenomenal right till the very end. A lot of questionable decisions were being made over there. They had that clear chance where they could have actually demolished the players over there of 7C line, and then things could have been completely different. We might have had a different winner altogether, but it is what it is. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be heading out for a shuttle break. You don't go anywhere.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? Kicking up the dust, if you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
Hello and welcome to PUBG Mobile Pro League South Asia. We are in the Super Weekend awesomeness. This is the second Super Weekend final day, day number 3. And in that, we have had an all-out war right off the get-go. This is the game number 2 that has come to an end. And along with which, it is a huge thanks to Oppo F19 Pro. Hashtag hook up your fun. I'm your host, Blotto. Let's move on to the analyst and ask them what do they think about this game that was almost 7 Cs.
Yeah.
Almost.
Like it was supposed to be theirs. It's just been taken away. But
Wow.
hey, I mean, they did have a good game, so we have the MVP, that is Fear from 7Cs.
2 kills, 602 damage, 53 healing done. I mean, if you're talking about healing, I don't want to talk about the healing of 7C right now, because the circle was the one took down 2 players at that moment. Had they just moved forward, maybe just a cover from some other direction as the players were. I don't know what was going on. Obviously, it's their calls or something that was going on in their mind, so obviously they know better about that one. But contribution donor, if we talk about this one, it's kind of good to talk about the assist and kills, 21%.
Yeah, and least damage taken as far as the contribution donut shows. That is impressive from Fear. But as we were talking about that final situation, I feel like a little bit more confidence from the side of 7C would have helped them out. They had the numbers. It was a 4v3 situation. They had to move together in sync. C9, they were split up. They were set in a 2-1 formation where you had Inky and Roy towards the right, and then you have one more player towards the left. So it was Munke towards the left.
Yes.
And it was quite an interesting setup from their side, like where they were just trying to stop 7C from coming up to the high ground.
And think about the pressure that Inky was just constantly putting up onto the opponents as just going 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 2 steps. Not letting his opponent just get that open area just to move in or something. But talk about the top players right now. I mean, 7C Rig is out here, and moving up forward, Uzme and Inky. Again, Inky is just doing good for his own team and himself, because Seal9, this has been another game that they got for themselves. And StalwartFlex, again, they are not stopping. They are not stopping.
I mean, Uzum again just getting those points for his team in terms of the kill, also surviving towards, well, the late stages of the game. A good performance being showcased by StalwartFlex. Hey, another team that we want to talk about is going to be INES, because they tried the level best, but as Ocean said during the start of the day, the team is going for those placement points, and well, it was the same situation in this game as well. They were gate kept from coming in, otherwise they would have made it.
Absolutely. I mean, they were against DRS, and DRS did not allow them whatsoever at all. But in that doing so, of course, a few points were collected from the side of INES. Let's move on to the match ranking and find out. Of course, we have Seal9 taking the chicken dinner, but this is an interesting dinner where it could have been the other way around as well.
We talk about P and Crew as well, right? They got the 3rd position for themselves, but no kills. So yeah, they are just at the 5th position as of now in this match ranking. DRS did good for themselves, but Blood Legion, Zeus again, T2K just trying to step up to the competition, did not happen in this one. Skylight Gaming, previous game was good. This game, I mean, only went for the kill points for themselves. So has been ups and downs in Venom Legends as well.
Well, some of the teams that did really well in the last match, we do see them in the second phase of the standing. So, I mean, the level of competition is quite tough. Miramar, again, an off-map coming in. We always say this. It gives opportunity to the teams that did not perform in the first game to sort of break the momentum, break the chain of events that was going on, and try and turn things around. And that is exactly what happened in this game.
Absolutely, and 7C did play it to perfection. So did so many other teams. Let's move on to the zone analysis and have a quick look when it comes to those rotations. How did it exactly fare out for so many of these teams?
I mean, talk about this one. You already knew, just like the previous game of Erangel, you knew this would be a junkyard, hacienda, that sort of a circle for the players to play out in the areas, and that's where you could see all the teams are starting to gather up in the central lines. But as soon as the circle shifted, DRS was one comfortable team in that area alongside Venom Legends. So the only thing they had to do was defend the area for themselves because they knew the fight was coming upon them. And that's when it all started. 7C, they were just, you know, guarding up the backside and moving up forward.
Exactly, and as you talk about defending your positions, I mean, even that can become a challenge on this map because you are going to absorb so much pressure, especially if it's a situation like this. And then DRS, they had an interesting situation with the circle. Even after the shift, they were quite close to it, and moving in would have been a bit of a challenge, which actually they did do really well, getting those kills and then sort of transitioning in. But then again, the teams with the strong formations that were able to get in quickly were able to gatekeep their opponents really nicely.
Exactly, to perfection, I would say, because so many of these teams were not able to get the kind of result that they wanted. And let's summarize all of this through the opponents and go through the entire game that just took place, where it was an all-out war right off the start.
Exactly, I mean, right off the bat, when 1950 was trying to take up the fight against SGX, and they did try though, but again, it's the domination that SGX just brings with themselves, and they knew that they had taken down 3 players, but then entry was the last one, so having tried to take up the fights, did actually take up good fights. And this is where I would say Stuttgart Legion was stuck up, and then you remember there was a movement that was going on as the players were moving up from one area, and all 4 players, like 3 players were in one vehicle, one van, and that's where the wrong decision just started to happen. After this one, when the players were trying to move outside for their own rotation, they were caught off.
Especially with these long rotations that you have to make in this map, it becomes really hard to sort of predict when things might go wrong. So you have to be prepared for them. And talk about preparations, I mean, we're going to see things take a wild swing in this fight. Yeah, that was a fight wherein things were sort of even between T2K and Seal9 for a while. And then Seal9, just because of one player overextending in a bad spot, they punished them really hard.
I mean, you would never, you know, talk about this one, right? Because there are some bad moments that, you know, if a fight is happening, it's bound to happen. One team will win, the other one will lose, no matter how good of a fight it is. So there are sometimes it's mistakes, or for the other time, it's about how you are just, you know, playing up the fight against your players, against your opponent, sorry. And that's how the things just go down for a few teams. And this was a final moment as it just started. And hey, 1 player remaining, everyone was happy after that one.
Exactly. The finish comes in, along with them, the points and the $1,000.
Exactly, and that is going to be really a morale booster for the team, of course. On the other side, when we look on to the start, where it's, of course, it is the damage graph that this time around I'm really happy to see A1 Esports picking up that slack. That is working in their favor. Zeus was caught off guard from, of course, Carnage, I believe it was. And again, I mean, 7C it was, I believe. But this is not the result that I'm sure PN Crew or Zeus expected.
Exactly, and the T2K as well. I mean, you can see 0 kills for themselves as well. So again, there are 3 teams here with 0 kills, but that is on to the other side. It means everyone got something. Some teams got the placement point for themselves. Some teams got the kill points for themselves. That's where A1 Esports, just like you said, right, 5 kills. And that just means one thing: A1 is trying to get back on track, and for them it's different for the other teams as compared to theirs, because other teams 1 or 2 games they play for the placement points, then they go for the kill points. A1 Esports they start off with the kill points, and that's how they just, you know, start of their journey, and I'm really happy for them as of now, because after this, maybe next games might just be theirs.
Well, it could very well be, but with those 5 kills, of course, that is going to make a huge difference when it comes to this team's overall ranking, and the storyboard certainly will reflect that, where A1 Esports has moved up a slot on the other side.
Yes, this is what I wanted to talk about. That, I mean, A1 Esports and StalwartFlex, aggression is the thing that's keeping them in the race, and the kills is how they survive. So now it becomes a question: do you slow down if you want to get those placement points, or do you always sacrifice those placement points, go with the aggression? It's not always going to work out, but hey, at least even if you take an exit during the middle game, you go out with 6 to 7 kills.
Absolutely.
Probably. But, you know, moving on to the other side, as you can see, 11 to 19. If you're talking about teams, INES did jump up as of now, and with those 25 kills and 33 placement points, they are at the 18th. I mean, previously they were out there, but talk about Seal9. I mean, they've had good games, and now they're at the 14th, surpassing XP Blood Legions, as we were talking about in the previous segment. 120 and 115. And now is the big jump that Seal9 has to take. I mean, 171, 120. If they ought to go there, they got to have back-to-back good games, but you know, that's a really, really long shot.
Help me out with the maths right here. 2 chicken dinners out of the 12 games that they've played.
They have been looking really good for themselves, but the thing is, like, can they continue? Because there are still games left. They need to come back to the other week as well. They need to be here in the other week.
And that's going to be really crucial. That is going to be the most crucial week when it comes to, because of course this is the second Super Weekend, but after this only one more Super Weekend remains before we step into the final itself, and only 16 teams will move on forth into that. Now in doing so, we need your help, because again, you are the ones who will make it all happen by showcasing that love, and doing so will result in you getting and being a part of all of these virtual gifts as well as actual gifts that are set up just for you viewers. And this is where we bring up the calendar, the schedule of the entire saga, where indeed you can very well chime in and be a part of this PMPL action, through which you will get in-game rewards. Also, you will get actual gifts, like for example, well, gift cards in your local currency, also the AirPod Pro, and so much more. And all you need to do, well, two things actually that you could very well be a part of this through. It is going to be either you join into this action via the esports center in-game, or you move the conversation along towards the actual gifts. But as we bring this conversation towards the saga, that is going to be the finale. That is where so many of you need to showcase that love. Ocean, you have been mentioning this so much every single time, that showcase that love, peeps. Showcase your love for your team, and in doing so, you will be a part of the top 3 will get that permanent outfit from PMPL. And like I was just saying, join into the action via Esports Center in-game. As you do, you will be earning points. Those points can then be multiplied by guessing the weekly winners, alongside which, as we were just discussing, this is just the virtual gifts that we've got, in-game gifts that we've got. Now you move on to the gifts that matter perhaps for few of you. It is going to be the AirPods Pro, it is going to be the gift cards in your local currency, as well as, once again, the in-game items. Now, this can be very crucial for all of you, but to be a part of it, hashtag PMPL SA in chat, along with your UID code, your unique code, and the region that you're joining from, the region that you are supporting. Very important. Showcase that love, fans, because this is the most important thing that these teams are waiting for. They need that. They need that love to be showcased throughout the entire chat.
Exactly. Not just when they win, but when the teams are going through those speed bumps, that is when it turns out to be the most important, to boost up the confidence of the players and to help them perform.
Absolutely, and with that, we've got 2 games done now. Moving on to the 3rd game, let's break up the schedule, where this time around, once again, we go back to the map of Erangel, and hopefully a few of those teams that are at the bottom are going to be able to pick up that pace and pick up that slack.
Hopefully, we'll just, talk about this one, because Erangel, if you're talking about the map, it has been always good with either Mongolian teams or the teams from Nepal. That's where the domination always is what we have seen. I mean, Zeus has had back-to-back good games. Talk about Seal when they were playing, had back-to-back good games for themselves. Talk about DRS. So I would love to see maybe the top 3 teams will be my pick for this one. Like, they need to start, because we know Carnage has had a bad game previously. Not that good. DRS as well, not that decent, as and obviously Zeus. So maybe those top 3 might just go up.
Well, hopefully, or the bottom 3 might. I mean, again, that could be the hope. That could very well be the storyline that could be created in this game. It is, of course, enough banter from us. Let's move on to the casters, to the commentators who are going to be taking us through this map of Erangel. It is once again XP and Blay.
Thank you again for that, Blotter.
Are we twinning? Are we twinning? All right.
Can I just cut across here? All right. all right. On me. Focus on me. There we go. On me. There we go. XP, stop cheating on me. We are going to be going live in the 3rd game of the day here. The final day of the Super Weekend. That means we have another Erangel coming up here, ladies and gentlemen. And it has been pretty hectic. The usual suspects have delivered. We saw some teams rise up to the top. Some teams kind of struggle a little bit here and there. We saw the desk pick their names. We saw Ocean say he expects the big dogs to deliver here. Do you have any small dogs you believe are looking to take a bite out of the out of the rest of the teams.
Well, the fact that all these dogs, so to speak, have made it to the
I love
Super
dogs,
Weekend.
by the way. I'm not insulting anyone. I love
just
dogs.
adopted one recently myself, so I'm going to be cheering for that one. But anyway, coming back to the talk now. The last game was won by Seal9, so that is a heavy hitter getting the job done. However, 7C Esports, they almost had that game in the grasp, but it just kind of slipped through their fingers. So again, for me per se, whoever has made it to the Super Weekend ain't one of those small dogs, but I want teams like A1 Esports to finally get a chicken dinner to their name, Blair.
We're going to be finding out. We're going to be heading straight on up right there, opening up. The heavens have indeed, and it is going to be Erangel once more where we find ourselves, and it's an interesting playing path this time around, XP, which is something we don't see that often. It has been kind of, I would say repetitive, but it has been kind of uniform the way the playing path has been. This time around, it's going to be starting all the way from Novorepnoy and heading towards Severny. And a lot of the northeastern side of the map is up for the taking alongside the middle, leaving Gatka, Quarry, and Primorsk pretty far away from where the playing path is. But looking at the trend of how the first circle tends to form, if it does continue that particular trend, it's going to get pretty chaotic.
I kind of feel it's going to be a central zone this time, with pretty much School is going to be in the epicenter. Pochinki could also see some action later on, but right now the teams are going to be jumping out of the plane. XP Blood Legion is going to be heading to Novorepnoy. That means Deadeyes Guys have Rozhok all to themselves. StalwartFlex again heading towards the military base, as expected. Zeus, again, see, the plane path is pretty much right over the shelter and the compounds around it, so that is where they are going to be dropping down. Again, you don't want to, have that little tussle as far as vehicles go, because that's when mistakes are made. But now I'm going to be waiting with bated breath, because I kind of made a prediction. Let's see if the circle is going to be where I think it is.
I'm going to call Quarry again, because screw it, why not, right? It's been that way every single time. Gatka, Hospital, Quarry, the Western Circle, and I'm going to wait. You know what? We're just going to wait this one out. Boom. There we go. I called it. I mean, it's so easy at this point, XP.
This is what I was thinking. So
I don't know. Listen, I'm just going to put it out there. I don't know why people get so excited when they call the right zone. This is easy. I'm not even thinking. I took my brain out.
wanted something different this time around, because I think probably if, just by numbers, if we play 10 Erangels, 9 of them have had this first circle.
I
So,
know.
I want something different. But anyway, coming back to the game.
I agree with you. Don't get me wrong. I want to see a Stalba circle. I want to see a Kameshki circle.
That is something that even I wouldn't mind, but something that kind of just caught my eye are the boys from 1952.
Okay.
This time around, they've ditched the ferry pair, and they are going to be going all the way to Zarki. Now, it isn't going to be a problem now. Of course, they want to make sure that they have the loot, they have all the weapons when they come in. They need to take a few fights. That's where they need to push their confidence. But other than that, INES seems like they're going to have Georgia Paul all to themselves. And this time, StalwartFlex are not going to have any opposition on the bridge unless A1 Esports decide to move in, because Venom Legends also this time, they opted for Milta instead of Primorsk.
The one cool thing about Venom Legends' game plan when it comes to the map of Erangel is because they're very comfortable at dropping towards either Ferry Pier, Primorsk, that area of the map, or towards Milta Power. They always have that option in case the plane path could be something a little bit more extreme, which is what we witnessed here, right? The western part of the map was pretty far away, so yeah, you have to have Milta as a safe ground.
That is something that I have advocated from day one. Just having one drop spot can be a problem later on if someone kind of, basically realizes, all right, this team only goes here, and if you want to play spoil sport, somebody can come and do that. So you got to be versatile, and that is what I want to see. Now, 7C Esports, they almost had the last game. However, Seal9 just let it slip through their fingers. I wonder if they are going to do anything different this time around. Pochinki, as usual, is going to be all for them. It is going to be a slow start once again because, teams aren't really contesting drop spots anymore.
Yeah, they aren't. And, of course, another team I do want to touch upon who do like mixing it up a little bit would be, of course, Zeus dropping, just west of the mansion, south of Yasnaya. Or they head towards Georgia, right, where they usually contest with either the likes of a Seal Esports or an INES, and this time around they're going to be dropping towards middle part of the island, which makes sense looking at a plane path. And I agree with you, XP. Not much of action taking place early here.
Now, you did mention Seal9, and even they've ditched Georgia Paul since the last game. They've been going to Milta. This is the second time in a row, which is something that is going to work in their favor, especially with Venom Legends nearby as well, because they are going in for the kills. And let me tell you one thing, although there's a team that is trained to kill, they are going to have heavy opposition because Seal9 is on one side, Zeus Esports is on the other, and once the horde starts moving, it's really difficult to stop the Mongolians.
It will be. It will be, as history has proven time and time again. Well, right now, no one really being hard pressed to really, being hard pressed by anyone. Everyone's just going to be looting up in their comfortable spots, and we might actually have a bit of quite a game. Although that being said, can we take a look at the map real quickly? Real quick, there is something interesting, slightly interesting happening, and if production would be kind enough to just highlight the map. And there you go, XP. What stands out to you?
Alrighty, first of all, have a look at Leo's position all the way down south. He is trying to traverse around. Maybe it might be Blood Legion who set up a bridge block, so StalwartFlex's woes are still not over. This could be interesting. This could be really interesting. Or the thing is, they might even try to find one of those boats down south and just wait a bit, go to Primorsk with the ferry pair. So they are trying to play it smart. But now that we have Leo over here, but wait a second, IC has spotted Fear.
IC has spotted Fear, and Fear will be taken down. That is going to be the first casualty, the first blood drawn in the server.
Pretty early this time.
Very early. Surprisingly, I really didn't think anyone was going to be going up against each other, but I'm assuming that 7C weren't expecting Zeus's position, because that's a team you really don't want to face off against, and Godless come to the party as
And this is what Zeus is going to do. They did drop to their favorite drop spot, and once they get that loadout that they are comfortable with, they are going to go out for, if they see any movement in the distance, they are going to go and investigate.
This is actually very reminiscent. Oh, Zeol is alone. Oh, no, actually, no, he's got backup nearby, but he's going to get off. He's going to take the shot. Of course, he's going to take the fight towards Spooky. Spooky pulling out that, going for the hard turn, but getting a little too over-eager was Zeol, and he saw Inky, and he got a little too tunnel vision, I felt like. He knew Inky was there, but maybe Zeus was like, there's no way they're going to get off the vehicle and shoot back at me, because we're Zeus after all, and they get punished for it.
You just stole the words out of my mouth, of course, tunnel vision. I was going to say, wait a second, why isn't he checking his periphery?
He knew, he saw it for sure.
He did, and well, they have lost him. It's going to be a loss, but since it is Zeus Esports, it's not really going to make that much of an impact. 3 men are still going to do the same job. As have a look at this, they are still firing at the cars as they are now safely tucked in behind the houses.
Obviously, Godless trying his best to get the trade. So yeah, they get that 1 kill, but unfortunately, doesn't quite pan out.
Since I am kind of keeping an eye on the map screen that I have on this side, it kind of looks like XP Blood Legion are going to be inching closer towards StalwartFlex. And again, StalwartFlex aren't going to expect any opposition coming from behind them. They are going to be wary about the bridge, of course. And looking at what Zeus is doing, they might be coming down south as well. 7C's thought that Pachinki was theirs, but now Zeus has joined the party, and it looks like Carnage Esports are heading down south as well.
Yeah, everyone, well, I mean, Pachinki is pretty much smack center of the circle of the zone right now. Now, if I'm A1, if you look at this, if you look at the Western Bridge, it's actually kind of centrally located as well. It's not on the periphery of the next play zone, so even just camping the bridge is, in my opinion, a viable strategy to take.
Also, what I kind of noticed was that A1 Esports, they aren't going to be... Ooh, driving skills on display over here. Jane with some good reverse skills. I want to see some parallel parking next. However, just coming back to what I was saying, A1 Esports aren't going to be contesting the bridge per se. They are a bit north. There's a little hill, and then we have that compound just before we get into the plains of Gatka. So that is where they are going to be hunkering down. It is a good strategy. Again, like you said, Pachinki is pretty much in the center, so they have a lot of options to move around. Now, XP Blood Legion, we were kind of expecting a little bit of a fight coming on the military base island itself, but it looks like they are just going to traverse along the coast, keeping an eye out for boats. Now, StalwartFlex are not taking any chances this time. They're like, you know what? The last couple of times we were pretty much wiped out. Let's do something different this time.
This is classic conditioning, right? It's like how you train a pet of yours, for example. You condition them. And right now, StalwartFlex have been conditioned so well by 1952 that they just avoid that Western Bridge like the plague. They just refuse to traverse it.
And talking about 1952, just have a look at the top of your screens right now. They are still going to be braving the blue. Of course, the first blue zone isn't going to do a lot of damage. So they are still nice and secure. But entry Tofik C minor, they need to basically just amp up the aggression a little bit. I am not going to be complaining, but now the circle is going to shift. And the question is, where are we going? Is it going to be north, south, west, or east? Or is it going to be in the center? Well, there you have it. It's going to be Quarry, Ferry Pair, Primorsk once again. And A1 Esports are dead smack center.
And StalwartFlex now, they're actually going to be going back. That's interesting. They actually go back to the Western Bridge right now. Maybe they have an idea as to where 1952 are. And,
first of all, I just want to say
yes,
there's an AWM in the drop. Second, I would not be surprised if StalwartFlex kind of go back to that same position because just as they left, the plane dropped this payload right on their position. But now they have made it. It isn't. But XP Blood Legion could get it. So basically, this arm is going to go untouched, which is kind of sad.
Sad face, Mugsat face right next to me. As Seal 9, okay, a little bit of a drive-by. They spot a couple of teams right by them. That is, of course, Zeus. And bear in mind, A1 are in the vicinity, and StalwartFlex have now crossed over the bridge. But instead of pushing further and joining the fray here, they're going to be heading towards the ferry pier, following the beach. I want to take a look at the map real quickly right now, because Blood Legion, you called it. They're going to take a bridge. They're going to be heading all the way to Primorsk, and no one might be expecting them. They're going to be playing the late game, not taking any fights, because let's be real, they have been struggling when it comes to the fights. But this is a pretty interesting approach coming in from Blood Legion.
They have been struggling, and Primorsk is going to be all for their taking unless P and crew want to come further down south as well. But I'm kind of imagining they're going to post up near the quarry because they would want to have that little height advantage over the rest of the opposition. There you have it. 4 men in a boat. And they can beach it round because there's another one right up ahead. Let me see. Can you make it to the warehouse? But they're not. They're being responsible drivers. They actually let. Oh, or maybe they're getting the other boat as well.
Could be.
They might just tuck it in. Actually, you know what? Right now, it's going to be problematic because P and crew are indeed heading towards Primorsk.
Also, beaching a boat would be a clear
dead giveaway.
The dead giveaway that they are in the vicinity. So
I want the drama.
Me too, XP, but they are being very, very sneaky beaky-like right now. And you did call it. You said P and crew might be heading towards Primorsk. And looking at the trajectory, I'm keeping an eye out on my minimap on my second monitor, and it does look like P and crew are heading, but they have taken a bit of a detour, and it looks like Quarry is what they're going to be calling home for the time being.
It is going to be indeed, as 1952 are still braving the blue zone, as they are just northwest of the hospital, but they should make it in the circle without any issues. Now we have all the players on our screen. Of course, only 2 lives have been lost so far, as just as I say that, SG Joker gets taken down.
So far, we've had a couple of deaths. Of course, it was Zeus losing a member earlier after they took down Fear from 7C. But it was some of those. It was kind of like a weird skirmish, right? It wasn't really a skirmish. They just encountered each other, and then of course, Zeol being a little too overeager, in my personal opinion. Well, right now we still have everyone alive, and by looking at a circle right now, actually almost everyone apart from 1952 are in the play zone.
They are indeed, and I was kind of mentioning A1 Esports' position early on. They've now gone a bit further up north. They've ditched that mountaintop, which is now called home by Z3us Esports, which again is the right call over here because you have a lot of buildings, you have a lot of concrete walls to hide behind, and well, shoot from cover as well. Again, it's all a short-lived dream because if the circle is going to be forcing them to move out, they need to move out, and that is when Zeus will be firing some bullets. And just as I say that, they can still just have a good time in that compound.
The bridge? Oh, I'm feeling it, XP. I am feeling it, man. It could be a bridge circle. It could be the military island as well, and there's no one there. Everyone just left it, and our Blood Legion's like, God damn it. God damn it, we went all across the seas, and here we are, and we got to go back again.
Expect Zeus to be shooting at multiple teams as they drive by, but the question is, will they lead their shots?
It's Zeus, they are. As we have Chari from Skylight Gaming heading on past this compound, and Heaven is going to be spotted out, and it is going to be Icy. He's going to find Torter first, but in the meantime, 7C and Skylight Gaming are in a bit of a pickle. Heaven doing a fantastic job, at least getting the knock onto Carnage Esports Jiggle, who will be finished off as well. And finally, blood will be spilt, XP, out in the fields. It is a bloody migration indeed, and Deadeyes Guys just pushing on in, and I think they just wiped out Carnage Esports. Deadeyes Guys out of nowhere swoop in and get all the kills.
The best thing was they saw that gentleman down on his knees and they're like, wait a second, free kill? Oh my goodness, so many teams in such close proximity to one another play.
This is probably the most congested third circle I have personally seen in a long while indeed. Suyog getting a knock, but he is also getting harassed from the distance. Wadusir lying prone as well, and look at Frankie's position here. This could be massive. He's going to have a bird's eye view. The danger, of course, being that if he can see everyone, everyone can see him as well.
But the thing is, no one's pretty much looking up at the skies because they are trying to dodge all the bullets that are going to be flying around over one another's heads. And this is what I'm talking about. Seal 9 is in a good position. Again, high up on this mountain, little ridge over here. Z3us Esports are in a good position. And A1 Esports are still going to be happy as XP Blood Legion are going in for the kill.
They have managed to push the extremity of
does
the
not
western
open.
circle. Yeah, they can't open that door. Unfortunately, it is completely locked, and I don't think they have any C4 to blow it open. But they do have a little bit of a mini fortification. The thing is, once they push in further, there's nothing. There's pretty much open terrain. So they're just going to hold the line for as long as possible till the blue comes on in. At 1952, they took their sweet time coming in all the way from North Georgia Pole, but now they're going to be finally arriving. And I do believe they're going to be pincered by Skylight Gaming, INES, and Deadeyes Guys.
At this point, have a look at Magnet's position. There's just a couple of buildings still in the circle, so they are going to hunker down over there and let the others fight it out. And they're like opportunistic parasites, I beg your pardon. They can actually pick off a few wounded animals or men over here every once in a while. But Blood Legion, again, they are at the edge of the circle as well. They have only a few options, but they need to pick a fight with either P and Crew or push in on INES's position.
Taking a look at the circle there, T2K's position, I mean, this could be massive. The circle, next circle, could favor them massively. And indeed, look at the position. They have the elevated position. They can be looking on down, and they can mow anyone down. A little bit of a bridge, still in the circle. But this is going to be... I'm calling it... I mean, I don't know how many National Geographic or Discovery Channel documentaries you've watched, XP. Remember like how during the drought you have all these animals crossing across the dried fields, the watering holes, and they just get taken down by the saltwater crocodiles. We've all seen that, right? This is going to be it. This is going to be a migration, and it's going to be a bloodbath. Half of these teams are going to be wiped out, as it looks like StalwartFlex Crypto spots Seal 9, immediate U-turn, and he heads on back.
He is going to head on back. Now, StalwartFlex going to have a few plays up their sleeve as well. They are going to be on the other side of the road as far as T2K goes. Expect a few exchanges coming in from that position sooner or later, as Gajor has pretty much spotted out the enemy, but he is going to take a few shots. His teammates, meanwhile, are going to make sure that the vicinity is clear.
I was talking about T2K's position looking very strong, but they have been knocked down a notch. As Deadeyes Guys, hungry box from the distance, godless. I don't even know how he finds him. And they're going to find a knock, and they find Blood Legion as well. Blood Legion, they walk straight into the Lion's Den. And with a roar, the Lions, they just swipe them out of their position. C-Miner spotted out as well, and he's just getting tapped away. And I love how Zeus, amongst all the chaos, they're just taking shots. Everyone's just afraid to take a shot at them. Abel's going to get the knock in the distance. He spots at Suyok's position as well. And Zeus right now, they're just reaping them souls.
The best thing about Zeus's position is they have that elevation, as Skylight Gaming, of course, are going to be eliminated in the 15th position with 4 kills. They have that elevated ground. However, it's like a tabletop at the top, right at the top. So, you know, you do have a lot of cover. It's not like you are on one little point, but something is going to be... Ooh, had that grenade been a bit to the left, Inky would have been in trouble.
The double nade coming in though, the third name, Inky, is doing fantastic damage pretty much single-handedly, only with the utility. Ayush down, Legends down, he's rattling a couple of shots with the AKM of his, AK-47, I beg your pardon, not able to quite find his mark, but now backup has arrived as well, and Sunday, P and Crew look like they're not in a good spot here, but the knock does take place. Sandesh, he's gonna find one, he's gonna find Monkey, and Seal 9 have been eliminated. Of course it's Sandesh, it's a 1v2, is nothing for this guy.
Nothing at all, and well, the winners of the last game are out in the 14th position with just that one kill to their name. Now Zeus is going to come under fire from multiple ends as 7C are going to be applying the pressure on them. INES could come in from behind, and now this is when A1 Esports finally need to make their move, and the first obstacle are the boys from Z3us Esports.
Z3us Esports right now holding strong. They only have 3 kills, but they have managed to get multiple knocks. IC is going to be the eyes of the squad, just spinning around. Abel running as well. They can see the vehicles in the distance, and Godless is going to be the one to take these shots. He's trying to lead his shots, but not quite able to find the knock here. Cooney will push on in. Assassin is very, very low in health as well, and they still know that a member of 1952 made that. Yeah, Magnet is still inside of that little hut. StalwartFlex is Crypto in the meantime getting knocked down, and as we await the next zone, that's going to decide how this game, the remainder of this game, is going to play out. Dante is tossing in an he's pretty much doing a solo artillery strike onto Zeus's position. multiple teams, 4 teams now on the western side of that circle, and the next play zone. Oh, it's gonna be towards the cliffs, and a lot of teams will have to make a move. A1 now going up against INES. Nade's being tossed on in, and that second nade as well is going to be a little short of where Gazor is. 2 members already down, and INES, they need to make up their mind. Either take a fight, run away, or go in for the res. But just lying prone is not going to work out in their favor.
It is not going to work out. Now, A1 Esports, they need to make sure that the vehicles are secure because they're the only team right now who kind of have an escape route available for them. If they basically get in their vehicles and start heading north towards where the drop is on your screen, they can literally make it out and be in a better position, or they are going to have to go in for the push. I do believe XP Blood Legion are going to be backing off just a little bit because time, of course, is of the essence over here.
Time is of the essence, and I already see Memo from 7C already in the water below the cliff. So he's playing the late game already. Godless, vaulting himself over the wall, will be finished off by Uzum. StalwartFlex holding the line, but they're also getting shot at from the distance by T2K from above. So now they're getting pincered, and Abel pushing up alongside Icy. Icy's going to get the knock though. There's still a couple more players to find. They're going to get the finish. 2 more players still alive for StalwartFlex here. And Crypto, nade sailing on in. He's cooking the nade, waiting and biding his time to toss it in. He's cooking it almost forever, it seems like. Oh, Abel, you got to get out of there. That's your own nade, bud. And indeed he will. And Crypto, he is just trying to keep them at bay with his utility, and so far it's working out, but right now, he's on his own. Blade, I can't see him anywhere in the vicinity. Play zone in the meantime playing, wreaking havoc, as Venom Legends are also going to be taking out DRS Nightwing with the utility dealing so much damage. There we go, Blade's away across the street, so as Crypto gets taken down, it's going to get very hard for Blade here, and the nade, it is finally going to find its mark. Crypto's down, and now it's down to Blade in a 1v2, and he better be sharp.
He better be sharp indeed, and of course Blade couldn't do anything over here because although Abel was going forward, his position has been given away, and Icy with a grenade can end it. Oh, there you have it, StalwartFlex. Good night, you guys are done for this game.
Magnet dodging the bullets is doing a pretty decent job, jumping and hopping and skipping, but he will fall as well. Look at the number of teams down to just a 1-man or 2-man squad. Oh, never mind. Everyone's just falling by the wayside. 1950s is going to get eliminated. We have some Memo. There we go. In the buggy, in the water. He was there a long time ago. The moment he saw the circle, he was like, yeah, I'm going to be jumping on it. PN crew will also meet their makers, ladies and gentlemen. We are down. Deadeyes Guys as well. They are falling like 10 pins in a bowling alley with people with bazookas shooting at them. A1, all 4 in a fantastic position on that cliff, but they are unaware of one player in the water behind them.
Also, you got to keep one thing in mind. T2K are going to be coming in that same route where A1 Esports is, so we are going to see a bloodbath over there sooner or later as the circle shrinks even further. A1 Esports still in the zone. Venom Legends in a comfortable position.
Zeus, man, like the 2-man squad, they're a 2-man death machine. They're going to finish off. I think that was Blood Legion there. Yep, Blood Legion getting eliminated by Zeus. Memo in the water. A1 having all floors players alive against the cliff. And blah, blah, blah from T2K. He's got that tree, a little bit of smoke, a little bit of cover from the rocks. And Zeus are taking a fight with multiple players. That's the opportunity. Like I pointed out, a blah, blah, blah could get this double knock and get the wipe onto Zeus's nade could be it.
He knows the vehicle is going to be in use. That is a perfectly thrown grenade. In fact, Abel gets taken out. Icy is going to be taken out as well with some excellent gun power to basically back up that grenade. Now, this gives T2K an opportunity to move in on A1 Esports' position.
And bear in mind, you see the one player of T2K, but they have multiple players alive. They're all the way at the back lines. Frankie? Wait, what the hell? Oh, well, he's going to fall to his death. Goodbye, Frankie. He denied. Well, he doesn't deny it. Nightwing will get the kill. Memo's still swimming around in the water. That nade could be massive, blah, blah, blah. He knows exactly where A1 are, and he's gonna beleaguer them with those nades. Ooh. Bear in mind, Venom Legends have a lot of players still alive as well, and now these nades are making this position extremely uncomfortable.
As his teammates are going to go on that flank, blah, blah, blah is going to be spotted out, but is that vehicle going to come up ahead? Yes, it is, as Jane takes down another member from A1 Esports.
And right now, A1 Esports under siege, and they better have a Steven Seagal in that team, or else they are pretty much done for right now. Jane's still pushing on up. A1 Esports, they're crawling around. Jack's trying to get the res, but he's going to, well, actually, he doesn't get taken down, but a teammate who crawled up right next to him gets finished off. Memo's now managed to claw up, at least to its bottom part of the cliff, and this is looking hectic as well, as Venom Legends now to join the refrain. Bear in mind, Venom Legends, they are really venomous right now because they have all 4 players alive.
I was just going to say that they haven't been quiet. They have 8 kills to their name already, and the fact that all these gentlemen are down on the cliffs down below is going to be tricky for them to come up. On paper, Venom Legends should run away with this game.
They could. They might, but you can never predict it. I've seen some crazy stuff happen in this game, XP. And now down to the final 4 teams. Another team will hit the dirt. 7th seed. They had Mimo hiding around the cliffs, finally gets spotted out, and he will be finished off, leaving 4 teams in contention for the chicken dinner. And just 8 alive.
You say it alive. Of course, Venom Legends have an idea where DRS's Nima is. He cannot come back up because Jax is in the only position where you can kind of crawl your way back up over here. But now T2K under heavy fire. And there is only so much one can sustain.
Well, getting completely obliterated. Venom Legends, it looks like they're going to be running away with this one, XP. It's a 4v1v1. And Jax, we've seen him in spots like this, but this is going to be almost nigh impossible for him to clutch, especially when you're downhill. And Venom Legends have such a fantastic position to work with. Nima is trying to spot someone out.
He's checking his gun out.
And also trying to see a couple of people above. But looking at the next zone as well, it is completely favoring Venom Legends. And this one's done. Venom Legends are taking the chicken dinner.
They are pretty much going to sink their fangs in that delicious chicken. And of course, as you mentioned,
Have you seen snakes eat a chicken?
Well, they don't actually sink the fans in. They just pretty much swallow it whole. So
It's scary.
It is scary. I mean, have you seen a snake eat a gazelle?
I have. They just dislocate the jaw, and I'm like, wow, like that's a big mouth. As we have Nima at the edge of the blue, and eventually he will have to move. Unfortunately, the only way he can move forward is by heading into the water, meaning he's going to be spotted out by Venom Legends. So it's he's in a bit of a pickle. Jax, I think, has been spotted out. I think they know.
They've had an idea where he is. I really have a question over here. Do you think the all mics are on right now? They're just like, hey guys, what's up? You know it's inevitable. Just tell us where your position is. But Steel Sol is like, nah, I'm going to blow him up. But Nima is going to still survive that. Now, the blue zone is going to do a lot of damage. The question is, are they going to get the kills or are they going to be short 2 kills? Because then every single point matters. And yeah, Nima's not going to give his kill to Venom Legends.
I'm especially happy to see Venom Legends kind of playing almost up to the level they showed. Oh! Okay, Rafa's had enough. Well, he hasn't been spotted out though. Well, it doesn't matter. He still gets both of them.
I take my words back. They are definitely happy already. Yes, you should flex right now because Venom Legends, what a way to win the game.
Raf, okay, listen, this is what happened, right?
He was fed up.
Like he's like, listen, I'm hungry. I've had enough. Screw this crap. I'm jumping in. And he gets both. He gets both.
Now, even if he did get knocked out, it wouldn't have made even the slightest bit of difference. But again, he was getting a bit impatient. Like you said, all mics must have been on. They're like, nah, we are not coming out of our hiding holes. And well, he was like, I've had enough, as you did mention. Jumps in, just like Rambo, gets the job done, and seals the win for Venom Legends play. But with that, of course, 3 maps are now done and dusted with, which means we still have 2 more action-packed maps for you guys. So we're going to take a quick little breather. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this break.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? Kicking up the dust, if you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
Hello and welcome to PUBG Mobile Pro League South Asia Season 3. We just got done with our 3rd game of the Super Weekend, the 2nd Super Weekend final day. And once again, it is a huge thanks to Oppo F19 Pro for making it all happen. Vook up your fun. Once again, a big thanks to Oppo for sponsoring the PMPL events. I'm your host, Blotto. Let's move on to the analysts and find out what they think when it comes to this 3rd game of, well, final. Wow.
Well, I'm quite happy because, I mean, the way it ended, I mean, it was so chaotic.
It was. Seriously, it so was chaotic. But in that, we've got Zeus Icy taking the MVP from this game with 1036 damage, 1036 damage with 7 kills.
I mean, the survival time was not that much as compared to where the game ended, right? Because it was slowly and slowly just going on with DRS's final play on one side, and well, A1's on the other side, and well, we saw the leap of faith just coming up. But well, talk about this one, right? The players that did good. I mean, we were talking about the teams that were consistent. We were talking about DRS. We were talking about Zeus. They made up their marker.
Yep, they certainly did.
Also, I don't think that was a leap of faith. I think that was a misstep right there, jumping down towards.
Well, if it works, it works.
It worked out. It worked out in their favor. But talking about Zeus, IC has had amazing numbers on the board every single time, and we do see him in the list of the top fraggers as well every single time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this player has been doing really good. Talking about the top fraggers, talking about sometimes skill leaders of the day and everything, all those. So this player, like Zeus as such, knows their business.
All
right?
four of them. All four of them, pretty much every single time. When you talk about top players, these lads are always there. With that, let's have a look at the top players itself, Carnage, from this game. And we have Venom Legends stepping up. I mean, the circle was certainly looking good for them, in their favor. So, along with that conversation, E1 Esports making it good when it comes to those points.
And especially all thanks to Dante did get those kills and the team did perform well, but Jax, I mean, the patience on that man, just staying there in that corner for so long and just waiting. I think he expected him to go down first before they figured out where Nima was. Based on Nima's strategy, I think was to just go for the heal battle in that scenario, given the fact that I think he had the heals sufficient to do that. But then Jax sort of just staying there, making sure that he wasn't spotted out. And A1 Esports, not A1 Esports, I'm sorry, Venom Legends, I'm pretty sure did not know his position until the time we see the player fall down, take on Nima first, and then Jax was forced to step out of his panic room.
Absolutely, and again, I mean, you talk about that play coming in, that was just miraculous, because that did certainly give A1 Esports the points that they needed. Let's have a look at the match rank, and we know who the chicken dinner winners are. That is none other than Venom Legends with 29 points and 14 kills.
Again, a high kill gameplay coming up from the chicken dinner team out here. Zeus did good for themselves, 7 kills coming out for them. That's the second highest as of now, as we can just see. Even Esports as well. When talk about High Voltage and Skylight Gaming, they've had 5 kills for themselves both, but High Voltage, that one extra placement point is what gives them the edge.
See, the best part about these sort of circles on Erangel is you get to see a lot of team fights break out.
Yes, that is true. And this time around, I mean, we've got 2 Bangladeshi teams up on top. That is also looking really competitive for the region.
Exactly, but talking about the other side, right? Carnage Esports, I mean, we were hoping this team steps up right now, but that did not happen in this game as well. 1952, a bad game for them. Seal9, it's a thing. Previous game good, the other one just goes down for this team as well. But INES, where is that INES that I was just, hoping to come back up to their game, because the first time that they stepped up out here in the Super Weekend, they were looking really, really good.
They were looking very comfortable as well in the lobby, but somehow as the pressure has racked up along, it has made it a bit more of a, well, I would love to call it dynamic play, but the dynamic itself is not working for this team. But with that, let's have a look at the zone analysis itself and find out when it comes to these rotations, where exactly are these teams getting caught off guard?
Exactly, and I mean, the big challenge in this one is where do you think the circle is going to go, because now we do see 2 teams stay behind in the early stages and then cross over. Good thing for them was the fact that no one tried to stop them really, really hard, because that actually becomes a lot of trouble, and I think StalwartFlex would be the happiest of the bunch, because this time 1952 were not there.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. But look at where Venom Legends was, right? They had the circle for themselves. DRS, I told you one thing, right? DRS would have had this game had they just stayed behind the fights, because right now also, they were the team that had to enter the circle at the later stages. Plus, they could have cleared out everyone in front of them while they were entering the circle. But in that, doing that, they went down. And after that, like, not exactly down, but down the cliff, as what I would say. That was not exactly the metaphor, but you get it, right? So from there, they could just get it.
It's just a random awesomeness that was, of course, showcased from the side of so many of these teams. Let's combine those all together through the Oppo moments.
Yeah, talking about the Oppo moments, right? The initial fights that has happened, this showcase, like, the Zeus just wanted to come back into the fights altogether with the aggression, but you win some, you lose some.
Exactly, you win some, you lose some, especially when you are going to be rotating towards those shorelines on the main island. It becomes a little tricky. And also, had this been a circle sort of towards the center, where you have a lot of the terrain being designed in such a way that you still have cover coming in. It was coming in from the west, where you have that Gatka area, the open land. So rotations do become a lot a big challenge for the teams. but the team sort of were able to pick those fights up. A lot of them, considering.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them just, got the fights. Plus, given the fact the fights were happening at the edge of the circles for a lot of teams, they needed to find out the right areas to just rotate in as well as take up the fights as soon as they are out there. So it was this game was more on the quick decision thinking.
Also, that has to be one of my favorite moments of the day. What happened to the players of Stalwart? Yeah, not just the second one, but the first one as well. That was funny to watch. I think Ocean is going to break it down. What happened?
Yeah, I mean the door being closed, but the grenade just goes in and out. Things like these just happen. And we'll talk about this one, the final moment, the final fights. So good, Venom Legends, the bold move that they just did.
Oh yeah, the flex as well from Fear.
Yeah, it worked out in their favor, so they were happy with that.
They most certainly were, and that was very, very crucial for this team because they were looking really confident and strong, and with that they walk away with, of course, 29 points from this game, and in that doing so, 14 kills and 24-16 damage coming in from Venom Legends.
As we said, they have picked up the pace, the aggression from this team is there, the points are coming in, and well, I think now it is time that we see them go to the top 10.
They will. They most certainly will. Will that sort of a performance? No question about it. Along with that, Ocean, when it comes to the teams who are not able to perform that much, this time around, we're looking pretty confident and comfortable. When you look at, for example, XP Legion, right? 99 damage dish, but still being able to convert them into points.
Yeah, exactly. 2 kills taken. So this is what, a team can favor from. Maybe two teams are fighting, or maybe one player is just down. You get those kills. Because the most important thing is you get the kill points. Somehow you get
so
there.
true.
Yeah.
And so important.
Yeah, and right that in those areas, you can see there are some teams with 1 kill and 600 damage. So that's how, the fights that you just take for yourself.
DRS as well could be added to that list. 258 damage converted to 3 kills. Just as I said, a lot of team fights breaking out. That gives the opportunity to the other teams to third party the situation and pick up a few points. And as Ocean said, at the end, points are coming your way. That's what you need to make sure.
Exactly, mate. And when it comes to those points, of course, we are talking about these teams that showcased a perfect synergistic play. They are going to be moving up when it comes to the overall storyboard. So let's move on and have a look at the overall rank, and where indeed we know for a fact that Zeus has created an impossible lead as of now. But so many other teams are genuinely catching up game after game.
This is where Carnage needs to step up, right? Because the day started, we were like they were at the 2nd position. DRS was at the 3rd position. Now DRS went forward, and Carnage with 2 back-to-back bad games. Now is where they are just faltering down. All right, they are in top 2 right now. But if T2K gets up the next game, if they get the pace for themselves, maybe by the end of the day, they might just try to be in the top 3. Because see, it's like you want to end your super weekend in a really good way.
Exactly, you want to end it with the momentum. And Carnage, they seem different today. It's not the Carnage Esports that we saw yesterday. And DRS Gaming, I mean, they're definitely taking advantage of that. I mean, look at the difference that they have sort of gained in terms of the total points. 250 on DRS and 239 on Carnage Esports. But as I said, after this matchup, Venom Legends see themselves in the top 9. They jump up 4 positions.
They got their first chicken dinner, right?
We were talking about it,
right? We wanted to see the teams that did not have chicken dinner get chicken dinners, and I mean, it is coming out good. Last game as well, I mean, Seal 9 was there. They have had their chicken dinner previously, but 7C was also trying out really good.
A1 Esports, come on, we need that to happen.
This is what I was saying, right? I told you, like, maybe till the last game, they might just get one.
They are doing really well. It's just that every single team in the top 10, they have multiple chicken dinners or at least one, and A1 Esports is the only... They're still able to compete with the rest of the bunch, but still, like, one chicken dinner.
They need
them.
We need them to have it, no question about it. But you move on towards the bottom half of this storyboard. This is where things are not looking good for 1952 as well as INES.
Yeah.
Exactly, and 7C, I mean, they are at their own position right now. 188 points for them, 183, 182, PN Crew and Skylight Gaming. Like, they have done good for themselves, but still, like, they need to gather up a few placement points. As you can see, Skylight Gaming 108 kill points and 74 placement points.
See, but now it is time for the real test for Seal 9 to, like, it has started already, because look at the difference, 121 to 182.
Yes.
That difference is going to take a while. It's not going to happen today for sure. It's going to happen, I think, if they make it to the last Super Weekend, then maybe to the second day of that Super Weekend 3, they might just catch up to the team above them. But in order to do that, they have to be consistent in every single match, including the next 2.
No question about it, and they probably will. That is the play that they bring into the table. They are bringing in that consistency. That is working in their favor. You talk about A1 Esports, I mean, you talk about kills, you talk about placement points, still very synergistic performance, and therefore they are in that top 10 every single time, even after games not working in their favor. Same goes for High Voltage for that matter, actually.
Definitely. I mean, High Voltage has also been sort of in a situation where we do see the team struggle a bit, but that has only been in terms of placement points. The team still managed to get those kill points no matter what situation they are in.
Just like you said, you know, A1 Esports. So
Right.
in the last game as well, in this game as well, like one of their players is in the top players. So it's like one player just does something out of the box that gets the team at that position, and every time it's a different player. That means everyone knows their own roles, and they kind of just stick up to that, and they try to play it by those rules for themselves, and they do it good. So somehow it's like survival time is also good for the players. If you're getting good survival time, you are getting those survival points, and at the end that gets up to the placement point marker for yourself. So that's what the players are doing slowly and steadily. High Voltage, but I would say still a few days back when it was Assassin just going up with their good gameplays, I want to see that thing happening back to back, like in one game as per se, because that was a treat to watch.
It certainly was, Johnny.
But hey, could it again be about saving strategies, I wonder?
Well, at this moment...
Because look at this, they have a good position, right? And in the league stages, it's all about moving to the finals. So they have a good position. Now, maybe in the finals, we're going to see everyone just reveal everything. All the cards are on the table, and, well, the fight begins.
Well, this is what we've been waiting for. After all, we are at the middle, we are at the crux when it comes to PMPL South Asia, and this is the second week of the entire saga that is almost coming to an end. We've got 2 more games remaining, but before we head into that, we're going to go on a very short break. Stick around, we're going to be right back.
Yeah. Ready? Strap up. Yeah. Free falling out of this, ready for what I'm pitching. Hey, the heaters is in the pick 'em off from a distance like. About to get the drop on. Roll up with the squad on. How you gon' survive on the ride? You can't hide or run. Try to stall, but your time will come. We gon' ride it together better than riding alone. Stuck inside of the zone, but before we head home, ride on right with my scope and then break over the go. Yeah, if I miss, I don't quit, so rest over the zone. Yeah. Coming at you like I got nothing to lose. Hey. Clearly I might be missing a couple rules. Call me the handyman cause I'm known for carrying tools. Hey. Ain't a problem that I can't fix, please don't get it confused. Yeah. 6 million ways to try, which will you choose? Many hope to stop our team, but we refuse. Act like you want it, bet y'all get it. Winner, chicken dinner, it's about to get barbaric. Can't call medics, I embrace pain and walk it on. Meanwhile, these cowards are praying, we call it all. Never not at all. In it to win it, we'll keep trying. All the zones closing in and we're watching the sounds flying. No loud sirens coming to save you, you better forfeit. Artists with the shotty, I paint a picture that's haunted. Pretty ugly, this ain't funny, but they nearly struck me too. They must be feeling lucky, spraying anybody that move. I'm the hit these dummies. bring it back.
Enemies ahead, about to put her in it, they chop. The survival of the fittest, the only mission that matters. My sharp as a dagger, my mama ain't raised a stacker. Coming in hot and heavy to break them and make them scatter. They made a platter that's ready for what I'm pitching. The emperor heaters listen to pick them off from a distance. Man, listen, got the drop on them. Roll up with the squad on them. Hey, how you gon' survive when we ride? You can't hide on them. Try to stall, but your time will come. We got the drop on them. Roll up with the squad on them, and we going hard. You survive the night, we ride. You tried to hide and run. Couldn't call, dog, your time is done.
When we talk about the competition, we always will be talking about one team that always kind of just, have the name of snakes in them, but they're not snakes. They stand tall to tall with their opponents and they just, try to go with the competition. I mean, that's Venom Legends for you.
Yeah, definitely. This team is pretty deceitful in the way they call themselves. As you said, Venom Legends relates to the snake, and you would think, oh, this team is going to be passive. But no, they are venomous and they are legends indeed, because their gameplay relies upon their ability to take fights.
Exactly. And in that, Rafat is an incredible player. I mean, talking about the stats, he was PMPL South Asia Season 2's Week 1's MVP, if I have to talk about this one. So yeah, the player knows his gun game. I mean, at that moment when everyone was testing the waters, he was looking ahead the competition. The team already was looking forward to the competition. That is one thing that I love about Rafat and the team, obviously. Rafat and friends, Rafat and crew, Rafat and team, you would want to call it like that. And he would love to do that once again. Because once you get that head start, you always look forward to the competition.
Another key fragger for the team is going to be Evil Eye. The man plays from the back lines, but still manages to protect his teammates from there and watch their backs at the same time. He's really, really crucial as a support player, as a player who allows his teammates to get into positions where they would not normally be able to get into. And that is something that is really important for this team. The only thing that does not work out for the Venom Legends is because of their level of aggression comes a different level of inconsistency.
Yeah, that's one thing for sure, but you can never rule out Nightwing and Shugo because those players are also incredible. And we will have to see how they test the waters and how venomous they are right now.
A team that has shaken the entire PUBG Mobile scene in Bangladesh to its core.
Exactly.
Where were these guys? What were they doing? Where did they come from? I think that is the question that we are all asking right now.
They stand by their name, Blood Legion. They want to go for the kill points for themselves. One of the highest fragging teams, one of the most dominating teams, a team that knows their business, a team that knows what they have to do. No mistakes were made by this team in any game. Like, how can a team be so perfect if we're going to talk about this team? I mean, every team would be studying them and they would have to up the competition. The only pressure they have right now is to up the competition. Talk about Gyro, an incredible player, one of the most brilliant players out there. And I would just love to see how he plays this one, how he plays the competition, because this is important now.
Exactly. And one thing that makes XB Blood Legion quite iconic is the fact that they managed to clutch out situations where normal any team would be taken out. It's just that look at the situation they were put in. There were matches where just 2 players were surviving. They finished in the top 3. They're still getting those kills, and that is something that they do consistently, and that is the reason that they were almost able to hit the 150 kill marker in the PMCO.
I mean, they were already standing apart the competition when competition was even starting up. That's how fierce this team is. XB Blood Legions. If someone has to, pick up their top 5 or something by the end of PMPL, they would obviously be thinking about this team as the name in that top 5, because this team has showcased that gameplay. This team has showcased what is needed, what is necessary, what is wanted, and they know how to fire up on all cylinders. I mean, talking about a game, 4 things are needed: landing, looting, rushing, and survival. They know everything.
Yeah, they know everything, but along with a player that you mentioned, Gyro, I have to mention the player that got the most kills for the team. That is going to be Ryan. Ryan was incredible. His teammates were supporting him to their best, and he was making sure that their support was not in vain. He confirmed every single kill that he laid his eyes upon.
I mean, the job was given to the lad. He knew what his job is. He knew how to finish that. And hey, by the end of the game, if you enjoy a chicken dinner, everyone's happy, right? Everyone's happy.
But Ocean, I have a question. You know, when you are in those deep waters and the blood is spilled, the sharks are definitely going to come in. XP Blood Legion, we know they are out of blood. But there are a lot of sharks in these waters, and for them to survive, they're going to have to eat everyone out.
They are hunters. They'll be hunting up for the competition. That's one thing for sure. I would love to see how this hunt comes down, how this hunger comes down, and how the competition just, moves forward with this one.
Hello and welcome to PUBG Mobile Pro League South Asia Season 3. This is the second Super Weekend is where we're at. We've got 3 games done, but after the 3 games, there is a bit of a change in the story. But before we mention that, it is a huge thanks, of course, to Oppo F19 Pro for making it all happen. Hashtag Wook Up Your Fun. I'm your host, Ploro, and of course, joining me on the NS desk are these 2 personalities. That is going to be Ocean Sharma and I Super Johnny. And now, guys, talking about the update. Let's bring up the update. It is a bit of a sad affair. We do have 2 games remaining. Yes, that is true for the second Super Weekend. But this announcement has just brought us down to our knees, and so as the players, because due to a power cut in Bangladesh, the force majeure has been declared, and thus implying the last 2 games of the second Super Weekend will be postponed to a future date. Please do not forget to follow our social media for the updates of the time and the dates, alongside which, of course, please do not forget to subscribe to our PUBG Mobile Esports YouTube as well as South Asia Esports Facebook page, because again, the giveaways are still there. The giveaways are all set up for you guys. Do not forget to hashtag PMPL SA when it comes to the entire saga that has went on down till now, along with which, let's move on to the day summary till the 3rd game and find out what has the story been like from the games that we've just noticed.
Exactly. It has been an exciting day, and quite an unfortunate situation that we are put in, because now it's like you are reading this wonderful, wonderful story and the last few pages are missing, and now we're going to have to wait to find those
It's
pages.
kind of a suspense that no one wanted, but it just happened. Obviously, that was the circumstance, but we were, loving to see Bangladeshi teams perform. You remember A1 Esports, Venom Legends, previous game was really, really good, but things just went on to its own curveballs, which was not supposed to happen. But well, you can't control it.
And especially it is commendable to realize the fact that they were performing so well today with the situation that has been brought to our attention. So kudos to those guys, and hopefully when they come back, when the matches are going to happen, the momentum is not going to be lost.
Absolutely, Johnny, because both of you guys, every single time when we jump into these matches with our league plays to the Super Weekend itself, day after day, every single time you guys do bring up this fact that they had a few hours. Those few hours, were they able to convert those few hours into a strategic all-out war against the entire lobby? Now they've got, well, a couple of hours, not only that, a couple of days maybe.
When we were discussing it, we were so much pumped up that, hey, A1 Esports might just get the final game or something, the upcoming game for themselves, because they were picking up on that momentum for themselves, but
well, again, it is the way of the, gods, I guess, is what I can say. But along with which, let's bring up the storyboard, let's bring up the overall ranking and find out when it comes to the entire saga till the 3rd game of this second Super Weekend. Where are we at? We just noticed Venom Legends picking up their slack, moving into the top 10. DRS looking really comfortable. And now what do you expect? Again, lads, what do you think?
Well, we did talk about this as well before the update happened, and it was quite an interesting situation. We said the momentum is going in their favor, the teams are picking it up, but hey, Seal Esports still, they're sitting on the 10th position with 197 points, so I guess even after the last 2 games take place, they're not going to drop further than 11th.
Well, yeah, 11th or 12th perhaps maximum, because again,
Max.
you did mention that last time that
There's
we
a
noticed
difference,
this.
yeah.
There's a huge difference between that 13 and the 14 slot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But now, if we're talking about Seal9, right? We were talking about how should they just move forward.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen today, but in the upcoming days for sure. So Seal9, their days are going to be just changing up their own pace. But
And hey, the conversation that we always like to have, the break, the discussions that are going to happen during those breaks,
Yep.
works out in the favor of XB Blood Legion and INES, I have to say, and 1952, because all 3 of these teams, they, at a certain point, even today, yesterday, we see them perform, we see them sort of try and build up the momentum.
Yep.
But as soon as they do that, the next game they get countered really hard, right? So now they can plan according to that situation, like specifically for, if I'm going to take the example of 1952, because
Yes.
that is one team that we every single time on Erangel see a fight breakdown that they do not expect, or they do expect and they plan for it, but something goes wrong. So they can try and figure out ways to sort of avoid that situation. Erangel, we did see that happen sort of with them changing the drop location, landing towards the northern side of the map and then moving in towards the south, but then the open area comes in and they get picked off over there. So
True. That is so very true. I mean, we always bring it down towards those bridge where, of course, StalwartFlex is coming in. 1952 is waiting
Love
for them.
seeing
At
that.
times, exactly, at times, the attenuation when it comes to the aggression from 1952 has resulted in them falling short of the result that they expected. But on the other side, of course, all the entire teams, these 16 teams, they have these few days now that they will hopefully be able to work in their favor, along with which it has been an incredibly energetic performance coming in from all of these teams. We were talking about teams who were at the bottom of the storyboard. They have picked up that slack and have slowly not only moved on along with the aggression, but got chicken dinners as well. With that, we do reach the end of our stream for the day. Thank you so very much for tuning in. We're going to be back again real soon. Until then, take care. Sayonara.